Good morning, everybody. It's Ben and Woods. It's 97.3 The Fan. Let's get our heads right on a Thursday, July 11th. Great to be here with you. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Hi, Paul.
Good morning.
Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor.
What are we doing?
Good morning.
Why are we whispering?
Just didn't have the same zest this morning when I cracked the mic.
Well, you're the one who's going on vacation in 4 hours.
Couldn't even
you
sleep.
should have plenty of zest.
I couldn't even sleep last night. I was so excited. I was laying in bed like, ooh, tomorrow night I'll get to see one of my favorite bands. I'm so excited. I'm going to have some bourbon, and God only knows. God only knows what kind of trouble I'm going to get into tonight. And I cannot wait. Cannot wait for it. Now, good morning. We can redo it. Good morning, everybody.
Thank you.
Let's get our heads right. Today is Cheer Up the Lonely Day. That's what we're going to try to do. The San Diego Padres do make you feel a little bit lonely from time to time. They do. You feel like you're alone when you're watching that team flounder.
I have a problem with that.
Do you?
Yeah, I feel like Cheer Up the Lonely Day implies that the lonely are
Need cheering up.
in need of help or in need of cheering up. It's okay to be lonely. You don't always need companionship all the time. You can be very comfortable by yourself.
You know, the great Paul Stanley had a song, and it was called Who Wants to Be Lonely? Meaning, nobody wants to be lonely. Who wants to be with you tonight? Yeah, that's. I don't know. I think it's just cheer up the lonely. It doesn't mean that they have a problem. Like, hey, let me just make you feel better.
It makes it certainly sound like if you're lonely, you're sad.
I'm going to look up the. Brandon says he needs a lot of cheering up. Yeah, man. You know, that's kind of our job in the morning. And people get mad at us sometimes for doing that. Like when we open the show after a 4-game losing streak, right? We're like, hey, what's up, guys? Everybody good? Like, dude, you guys don't care. Blah 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 blah. And it's like, nah, I do care, but it can't consume you. You know, it really can't. It can't wear you out. Are you looking it up right now?
I am not looking it
all
up right now.
So I don't know where that the origin was.
It's
from that.
very hard not to spin you out. I was trying to text Paulie because the Odyssey app is not playing our show. It's playing the network show right now, so we need to work some technical issues out, apparently.
We've been having issues.
Yeah, we've had some technical issues this morning in the studio.
I think I just reset something.
Hopefully it's working for everybody right now.
Yeah.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, you guys are hearing Maggie and Perloff instead of...
well, if you're not hearing you say that, if you're actually hearing Maggie and Perloff.
They were hearing Maggie and Perloff. All right, well, listen, man, this has not been our best open of all time. It's fine. It happens. You're going to have some clunkers from time to time. Thing about us, though, unlike the Padres, we will not have 4 bad shows in a row. That is a promise. We really never have 4.
No.
Never.
Maybe 2.
Like I'll
at
die
most,
trying.
usually
Two
no
is
more
our
than one.
2 is like
Two
our
is like
record,
the maximum.
like our literal record. Now, that's how we feel. There are people out there listening, like my buddy Cornholio, who's just been wearing me out on Twitter. He wants me to block him so bad.
Especially, now I don't know exactly how far into the week.
What the hell is going on? Still playing the...
Is it really? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, I guess good morning to you guys. So if they're listening on the radio, what are they hearing?
They should be hearing us.
Man, that sucks. All right, well, listen, we got to plow ahead. We got to forge ahead. People get mad at us though if we come in and have a good time after a 4-game skid, you know. And I just listen in the mornings. It's kind of our responsibility to get you guys off on the right foot. That's really what the job is. It took me a long time to realize that. Like, it's my duty to send you to work in a good mood, or maybe calm down a little bit, or get you fired up. You know, those are the kind of 3 places we operate from here on Ben and Wood. So that's what we're going to try to do today. I wish I had better news for you if you're a San Diego Padres fan. It's been a rough week, certainly. And I do feel bad. I did feel bad driving in this morning. I thought, man, I'm leaving today at 10, and Ben's got to do a roundtable on this team. And then Ben's got to work tomorrow with no game tonight, Benny and Paulie. And then you guys got Mike Schilt on tomorrow. I snicker because I would hate to be put in the same position. Is there anything I can do? Is there anything I can do to make it better for you?
I'm really not. I'm not in a bad place. Maybe you're not in a great place, or the fan base isn't in a great place. But I'm trying to just keep perspective on everything. The Padres are exactly where they've been all season long. Right around 500, right in the top 3 in the wild card race. Really haven't separated themselves from anyone or been, passed by anyone other than like the Philadelphia Phillies. There's really no team that I can say for sure is better or worse than the Padres in the National League. Obviously the record of the Rockies and the Marlins, they're out of it. But I would say every team between the Phillies and the Rockies are essentially, throw a hat over them, and you put them in a 4-game or 5-game series or a 7-game series, it's a toss-up in my mind. It could be Padres-Dodgers, it could be Dodgers-Cubs, it could be Brewers against the Reds, it could be any of the teams that are Pirates against the Giants. Put them all in a hat right now.
Yep.
And it's basically any of those teams could beat any of those teams. The Phillies are the one team that look like they're a little bit better than everybody else. Obviously, the Dodgers are in a more comfortable position, but
they
haven't done anything that makes me think that they're, better or worse than anyone. And the Padres could lose to any of those teams in any series at any given time.
Did I see right yesterday the Dodgers in their last 43 games are 22-21?
That sounds about right. They're just kind of mediocre like everybody else.
That's as mid. That's as mid as it gets. That's absolutely as mid as it gets. So, all right, I guess there's a little bit of perspective for you. But the difference in some of those teams that you mentioned and our team, a lot of those teams have massive reinforcements coming. Massive reinforcements.
As do the Padres. I mean,
you're a sweet.
Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr. Got a good report on Joe Musgrove yesterday.
He's a sweet kid, man.
It's as good as you're going to get in the National League in terms of potential reinforcements for the second half of the season.
You just listed 3 guys, none of whom know how to throw a fastball. None of them know how to throw a sweeper. None of them can eat up innings. Joe could. They're saying he may not come back at all this year.
Mike Schilt yesterday was extremely positive about Joe's prospects of coming back.
Wait, Mike Schilt was positive? Are you joking? He didn't say, he's done. He's done, y'all. Send him out to pasture. No, of course. A lot of these teams you're talking about,
they got off the mound yesterday. That's got to be a positive step.
They got a lot of reinforcements coming. And again, we don't know what Tatis. Xander played last night, and Elsinore had a decent game. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about Xander coming back. I am. Lengthens the lineup, lengthens the bench. Certainly gives you another option or two here or there. But yeah, it sucks, man. Yesterday was a really, really rough one for the San Diego Padres. It wasn't as bad as the night before. We were texting about that yesterday. The day before was terrible. Yesterday, you're like a little bit of a break here and there, and the game's different. Obviously, you don't want to get hit in the 5-hole if you're Luis Ariz yesterday, and it cost us a run. Which is a bummer.
It was weird though. I mean, it was a 2-0 game.
2-0,
and they had bases loaded. I think a couple of times
in the second.
Had multiple runners on in the 8th and the 9th. Yep. Maybe one other opportunity somewhere. Yeah.
Plenty of scoring opportunities, and yet really until I think the 9th, 8th or 9th, when Merrill was up, I think with 2 on, and I thought maybe he can hit one here. Up until that point, though, even with bases loaded in a 2-run game, I'm like, I just don't feel like they got it in them today. It just didn't feel like that was going to go our way.
I felt the magic was coming that night.
I actually did think the magic was coming yesterday.
Which is nice to be in Paulie's cynical head, because being in our head and be like, ooh, we're going to get it. When Manny walked,
felt it a little bit.
When Manny walked, I'm like, here we go.
The Mariners literally, they had like no scoring opportunities. They had the one that was given to them by the Padres in the second inning. And then they had that two-out singles that kind of just happened all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Like King was dominant.
He was great.
I mean, the Mariners couldn't do anything yesterday against the Padres. Padres had some chances. That was just a baseball game. Didn't work out. Yeah, it's been a rough week, but we've seen about 6 of these over the course of the season already, and they've always just bounced back and come back and started playing well again after a 4 or 5 game skid, and off they go again. I mean, I've got the numbers, and we can get into them in the show today of what the Padres have done just in their last basically 6 weeks of back and forth, up and down, riding and I know he hates that phrase, but they are riding a roller coaster this year.
There's no doubt. I mean, there's just no other way you can look at it. None whatsoever. I know that you don't like the phrase, but that's exactly what this team is, man. It's a roller coaster. It's a roller coaster for the fans. It's a roller coaster. The players they look at it as we're going to clock into work every single day. Nothing changes. Routine changes. At the end of the day, you hope the results are where you want them, right? Like they probably don't look at it like that. They're not living and dying with each win and each loss. But to watch the team, to cover the team, and really be invested in the team, I don't know how you could look at it as anything else. I really don't. It's woo, just up and down and up and down, and that's something that they're going to have to figure out in the second half, obviously. And I just don't know how you quote unquote figure it out. I really don't. I mean, he's got to play better baseball, dude. The offense has disappeared.
Our boy Tommy on X posted, and I'm assuming he's accurate here. Padres past stretches.
Yeah, this was great.
From May 26th. Go back to May 26th. 5-1. 0-5.
Oh.
5-1. 0-5. 12-3. 0-4.
So I guess we're about a day away from the start of another really good stretch. So we should be feeling pretty good as Padres fans, knowing that another great.
They're going to lose tomorrow for sure.
Yep, and then a great stretch begins on Saturday.
Yeah. So and then the All-Star break hits.
Well, we'll just carry it right on through to the second half of the season.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been really, really fun.
But I mean, you can say factually, 1 week ago, Padres had the hottest offense in baseball.
Correct.
Absolutely, number one,
no doubt.
Hottest offense in baseball. Yeah. And now this week, looks like they have no idea how to score a run. Same team, 1 week. How do you make sense of it? How do you talk about this team? That's our dilemma that we've been dealing with all season long.
Yep.
5-1, 0-5.
I'm going to try not to get too high or too low. And the next time they go on the run and they win 5 of 6 or 8 of 10, I'm not going to get overly excited about it either.
Yes, you will.
No, I didn't. I really tried not on the last one, knowing that magnet back to 500 is still in effect. It still exists. It's still going to pull them back at some point. And ultimately, the San Diego Padres are what we said they were at the beginning of the year.
500.
They're a team that's probably going to play a couple of games above 500 this season and should be a playoff contender for a wild card spot at the end of the year.
Yep.
They're exactly what we thought they would be. Maybe not in the way we thought it would happen. I was expecting more of a, win 3, lose 2, win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 3, and that, not necessarily win 5, lose 5, win 5 out of 6, lose 5, win 12 out of 15, lose 5. It's been a little more concentrated in terms of the bursts, but ultimately they're right where we thought they would be.
Yeah, the big chunks. The chunks is what we're
and they've done it despite massive injuries. They've gotten some unexpectedly good performances from players, and here we are at the All-Star break. Would we have not signed up for a couple of games over 500 at the All-Star break?
I think we would have.
I think most of us would have.
I think we would have. I think that's a fair way to look at it, certainly. This week, notwithstanding, it's yesterday again, one of those games where you're like, especially the night before too, just Stars aren't doing much, at all. Manny not doing much at all. Need him to get going, certainly.
He was going. They were hot. He stopped going. They're not hot.
Yeah,
it's very. That's always been the case.
I'm going to see him today. I'm going to get in his ear a little bit and chew him out a little bit for if you guys want me to. What's up? What's the problem? My son's going to his camp today. He's playing at the camp. Now, my guess, what's your guess on how long you'll see Manny Machado at Manny Machado camp? 15 minutes?
What time is the camp?
She drops him off in like an hour and a half. Registration's like 7:30 to 9.
Call it 8 to noon.
So call it 9 to noon.
9 to noon?
Yeah.
I bet he'll be there for an hour.
You think an hour?
Yeah.
Will he be down in the...
Yeah.
Oh,
he'll give some time to the kids.
I'm excited for
I bet he's there
man.
At the end.
I think he puts his name on it. He wants to at least, have some interaction with all the campers.
I don't know that he's there right at the start.
Yeah.
He's not sitting at the table.
No,
What's your name, little buddy?
No, exactly.
Fred, all right, welcome to the camp. Here's your shirt. What are you, an L? Here's your shirt. No, I doubt he's doing that. But
It'll be more than just like 1 5-minute meet and greet at the end, though.
He's gotta
he'll get in there for a little
He's
got
to do an entrance, right? They have to do an
Yeah,
entrance.
of
Ladies
course.
and gentlemen, why didn't they ask me? I would have come out and been this hype, man. I do it every day here anyway. Be happy to do it. I'm excited for Bo, man, to get out there and show him his stuff. And but I will go down after the show. That's why I'm actually leaving instead of the roundtable, going down to watch him at camp. And if you need me to say something to Manny today, I'll say, hey man, get it going. We need you. We need to ride on those shoulders.
Maybe that'll be a roundtable question. What should Woods say to Manny?
Please leave me out of the roundtable. I'm begging you. Don't even bring my name up. All right. Let's have some fun today. Jeez.
Wow, that wasn't a fun segment.
Technical
difficulties leading into
sad.
It
It was the worst foreplay ever.
Nobody's,
You know what?
Nobody's happy with that.
Let's start over foreplay.
Yeah, we'll
when
do
we
it
come
again.
back, let's play Barry White.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
actually foreplay it up before we get to our Padres wrap-up.
Yes, I would love that.
Redoing foreplay when we return after traffic with Kelly Danick. Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. After some technical difficulties, we're back. We're better than ever. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Good morning to you.
Good morning, everybody.
Great to have you guys.
Happy 7-Eleven Day. It's July 11th, which means, of course, 7-11.
What do you get? Like free Slurpee or something?
Usually like free small Slurpees. I haven't checked on the promotions. What's your go-to guilty pleasure?
Cherry
and cola combined together in the Slurpee.
Let's do cherry.
Do you ever do anything from the roller? The roller, usually is for hot dogs, but they have they have all those other items. I'm terrified of them.
Not in years. I mean, I
Really?
have before. I've had
Spicy garlic chicken roller,
I've had many a 7-Eleven hot dog.
Korean barbecue taquito.
What always
Barbecue bacon cheeseburger roller. It's like a cheeseburger, but in the form of a hot dog. No?
I always see people in there eating them. And I'm like,
terrified.
I am too. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone in the chat saying their taquitos are amazing. I might try one then. I like taquitos a lot. A lot.
I love taquitos.
But I've tried to. Yeah, the older you get, you want to limit your meals at 7-Eleven as much
Purple
as you
calls
can.
it just chicken tubes.
Chicken tubes. Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm always worried. You just don't know how long they've been rolling there.
No.
So,
Like, how long have they been there?
I'm reading about today's free Slurpee Day.
Okay.
Yeah.
7-Eleven. Free Slurpee Day. You can walk into any 7-Eleven and get a free small Slurpee. No questions asked.
No questions asked.
Love that part.
I do too.
And then if you are a rewards member on their app, you can get another free Slurpee between tomorrow and the end of the month.
Okay.
And then
Not doing that.
today's Slurpees that are the free ones are all coming in a special cup designed by 7-year-old Nolan, who beat cancer at age 4.
That's so awesome.
So I don't know what those look like exactly.
That's killer.
I wonder if there's a picture.
When's the 7-Eleven Speakeasy opening up, and you can go stay and spend the night for a weekend? And
I think they have those.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do.
Now, I want to say we started the show. You mentioned this is your last day of the week. Going on vacation.
My Friday.
Then we dove right into Padres doom, and
Terrible.
It was not fun. But I wanted to say we talked about it pretty in depth yesterday. I think it was our 8 o'clock kind of reset. We talked about how you were going to see the same band 3 nights in a row at 3 different locations.
Correct.
And I'm not hating on it. I think it's interesting and fascinating. I don't know that I got that in me. I don't know that I would do anything 3 nights in a row.
I don't know that I do either.
But I thought about it all day yesterday.
You effed me up so bad yesterday when he said to me, it's like going to see the same movie 3 nights in a row. And I went, you stupid bastard.
When you can look at their past set lists and go, they're not deviating from this set list.
I mean, people
all.
go to like Padres game 3 nights in a row,
Yeah,
but they're going to be different every single night.
You will never see the same Padres.
Actually,
you feel like
you do
You
sometimes.
feel like you have, but
But I was thinking about your trip. So you're heading out tonight. You'll be gone all weekend.
yeah.
How does that play out at home? I'm just
Like with the missus?
Because you do this often. Solo vacation woods. I know you guys got a trip like next week. You're going to Hawaii in a few weeks.
Yeah.
But you do this a couple of times a year.
Yeah, where I'll just go see a show
does
alone.
Hannah bust your balls ever? Or like
Hannah never busts my balls until it's the day to come home. The day to come home is when it's like panic has set in. You've been gone. You get your ass home ASAFP. So my 2-day trip really turns into a 1-day trip because there's no getting up and leisurely having breakfast on Sunday, taking my buddy to the airport. My buddy now has to take an Uber to the airport, which is fine. He's a big boy, and I gotta get my ass back home, which curtails my Saturday night as well because I can now not go near as hard as I was going, which, by the way, probably a good thing. Look, I'm going to be missing my kids. I'll see my kids today. I won't see them tomorrow at all, and that will kill me. I'll be ready to get back Sunday for sure. No, she doesn't. Here's the thing. She would rather let me go by myself to see a band I love than go see that band I love with me. Does that make sense?
yes.
She does not. And by the way,
Now, technically,
Vice
you're
versa.
going with a friend, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a buddy's trip.
It's a buddy's trip.
It's technically a buddy's trip.
Yeah.
And I think everybody, guys and girls, need to have a buddies trip every once in a while where they get away from their significant other, get with a different group of people, and hang out for a couple of days.
Right.
That's
yeah.
healthy. That's normal and healthy.
But I've 100% gone up to L.A. to go see Crosses or something solo. I mean, I didn't
That's
know.
true. You
I
have
didn't.
done
And she's like, "Go, have a fun time." Great. I think you got to have a little independence. I think in your marriage because, again, she goes and does these trips, and I'm like, "Go, have a ball." I think we both. I think when she leaves, it's easier to parent. Right? Like I think it's easier. Like I don't have a hard time with my two boys. And she I think has a little bit harder time when I'm gone. Cuz I'm like the mean one. Like
I know what you're saying.
I'm the yeller.
When you're on your own, obviously You're on 24/7. If anything happens with the kids, they got to get up in the middle of the night. You don't have anyone to assist you. But I know what you're saying.
Anything goes.
Well, it's also you don't have to worry about what the other person thinks. Like whatever decision you're making, it's good because it's your decision and you handle the situation however you want to handle it when the other person is gone.
Yeah.
Correct?
Well, the dishes will pile and pile and pile and pile.
If you want that, you can do that.
And then we just wash them all
at the end.
At the end. She thinks I'm saying something out of school. I'm not. She's mad in the chat, but I am it's absolutely easier. It's easier for me to parent. Like if she goes away
and it
for
should
a
also
weekend.
be somewhat easier for her when you're gone. No,
apparently it's not. Maybe some of us are just built different as far as parenting goes. I don't know. It could be. I'm gonna get dead. I just said I'm gonna get killed.
I'm gonna get deaded.
I'm gonna get deaded by her. Yeah, listen.
She's gonna dead you.
She is. She's very mad right now. I mean, again.
Somebody in the
is
chat
it possible
said,
you will be here tomorrow morning?
No, zero chance. Zero chance.
Somebody in the chat said another soft offensive outing last night, and then right below that, Hannah goes another soft offensive conversation.
Offensive conversation.
Right
Well, listen, I mean, I don't think I'm wrong. Many dads have agreed with me. Many dads in my circle have said, "Game this easy? Is the game really this easy? My wife's out of town. Is it this easy?"
I have no children, so I have no comments.
Yeah, there you go. It's easy. It's easier.
But you know that because you know you'll get right back to your routine in a couple of days.
That's what makes it easier.
If
because,
it was always like that, things would fall apart completely.
I'd be dead. I would be.
It only
dead,
works for a short
dead.
period of time, maybe a 48-hour burst.
Yeah. Oh
of
no,
the
this
solo
isn't
parenting.
This
It's not
isn't a 3-month.
It's not.
thing.
Oh, this would be so much better if I could just have a month without help. No.
Okay.
You're talking about a short 48-hour burst.
Kids, mom's got to do 3 months in jail. I'm dead. I'm dead. There's no way I get through it. I fly my parents into hell.
All right.
There's no chance.
What does Hannah go to jail for?
What
for
does
3
Hannah?
months?
Assault on me.
Assault?
Just tries to choke me out. Something. Beats me.
You think that would get passed?
Punches
she would,
me in the
I think she'd be
face.
able to clear that with a judge.
She probably would.
Like he goes on his radio show and pisses me off
She's
every morning.
really getting mad right now. She's really upset. I don't know. I mean, I think, babe, look inward on this one. Look inward. Ask maybe if it's something that you're doing differently. Look inward on this. But I like when it's just me and the boys sometimes because, again, we do feel a little bit less encumbered.
Yeah, I know it's probably not always the case, but probably in my case, your case, our standards are lower. And it's easier to meet lower standards. Correct?
Yes.
Much. We have lower parenting standards.
Next Gen Break says we whine more than women. I don't even think we're whining right now. I think we're just having a conversation. You know,
I think
this
that's
is
a little misogynistic too.
I think that's a little. I think that's very misogynistic. How dare you? Next Gen Breaks. I think men and women whine equally. How about that? Again, built different. That's how we do it.
I apologize, I guess. I brought this up. I didn't mean it for it to go this way. I was genuinely interested in how that worked out. Because, I mean, I'm going on a bachelor party next month. I really think, I was thinking very long and hard about it. My friend group, I go, this has got to be the last one. Like, for a while.
I'm begging you guys
like
to make
for
this.
a while.
Thanks for the $1,000 bill, guys. At least
Went to another one in November. Got one coming up next month. But like obviously that one, it's a no-brainer. Megan's like, yeah, go have fun, go for it. But then like the next trip I go on, I'm sure she'll be there with me. We'll be planning a trip together.
Right.
And I just was like, what does this a little bit like 2 or 3 times a year, I'd say.
I do. We both enjoy our independence, and that's
I think
fine.
it's great.
I think
I
it's fine.
just was curious. It's a fascinating trip to me.
Now, she does not expect me. I don't have to, like, call a bunch, check in a bunch. We've actually learned that's probably the worst way to do it. Just go have your fun. Let me know you're alive, and then I'll see you when you get home. But when she gets panicked is the morning I'm supposed to come home. There are no leisurely strolls. Hey, babe, we were going to get a hike in before. Oh, no. Get your ass. We were going river rafting today. No, there is no river rafting today. You get your ass in the car and get your ass home. I've got work.
Next week,
I've got this. Are you? I've got this. I've got that. Get home. So Sunday morning, I'll be driving back at probably 6:30 in the morning. So it's fine. I can't wait, man. I'm really looking forward to it. And tonight, if you're out in North Park, we'll be at the observatory seeing the Afghan Wigs. Probably be at $7,000 as well. You want to come by and have a drink? I'll buy you a drink. Come on out.
Bottom line, get your free Slurpee today on 7-Eleven Day.
Yes, that is the point of that whole segment.
That's about all we've got now. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. Yes, people, we will get into yesterday's Padres game. 2-0 loss to the Seattle Mariners. They were swept. They've lost 4 in a row. We are all feeling it. We know how this works now at this point. It's nothing new, Padres fans. You've been going through it all season long. Get to the highlights in our Padres wrap-up. Coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Oh, yeah, we've got a Padres roundtable coming up at 10 o'clock this morning, which means, yeah, we've got 5 hours to talk about this lovely, lovely baseball week we've been having here in San Diego.
You and I can, since I won't be on it, you can grill me now.
Test
or
some
later.
of your.
Test some
I
of your
will
questions.
test out some of the questions for sure.
Okay.
I just want to make the point. So last Friday, Padres had one of the most memorable, spectacular wins that come from ahead, come from behind, walk-off, Manny Machado home run on
Yes.
Friday night. That capped a run where they had won 12 of 15 games.
Yes,
if
sir.
you're sitting there on Friday night going, is this a good sign or a bad sign for the San Diego Padres? Playing really great baseball. They just had an incredible walk-off win. Do you think this means good or bad things for the Padres
Would that
going
put them
forward?
6 games above
Yeah,
500?
season high, 6 games above 500. Are they trending in the right direction or the wrong direction?
To the moon.
You
To the
would have
moon,
said,
baby.
of course,
Yeah.
the exact wrong answer.
Yep. And then the very next night, loading the bases with a chance to win that game. Had they walked that one off, you win that series. It's the tenor and tone of the week is entirely different. We're unable to get the big hit in that one. We're unable to pitch well in that one, really.
Yeah.
Also, so yeah,
They had 2 bad games.
They really did.
Sunday and Tuesday were both pretty bad games overall. Just didn't do a lot well. Yesterday wasn't one of those. We'll go through it. I don't think yesterday was a bad game. Yesterday was a game between 2 fairly evenly matched teams that you lost.
Yeah, and it's the moral victory thing, and I moral victory the hell out of Saturday night. I left Saturday night's game going, oh man, whew, this team they sure do grind and fight, man, and kudos to them. This loss doesn't even feel like a loss.
They bounce back tomorrow, win a series.
BFD, we'll get at it tomorrow, and then to go out and just on Sunday, and then to go out and on Tuesday, and then to go out and lose yesterday. The moral victory crowd I don't think they're going to want to hear that right now. And that's okay. I mean, it's the logical way to look at it. Hey, they hit some balls hard yesterday, didn't find holes. They didn't make some plays that they should have made that cost them runs. Michael King absolutely pitched his tail off yesterday.
Gosh,
There's a lot to be excited about for him, but you can't lose those games when your starting pitcher picks you up and gives you exactly what you've been looking for. And again, off of a guy that had a 7 ERA on the road, man. The guy comes in and he looks like, prime Garrett Cole or Justin Verlander against you. That can't happen.
Now, there's no reason why he should have a 7 ERA on the road. He's a good pitcher.
Yeah, but he does.
He does, but that could just be random noise
If he's a good
over
pitcher,
the
why
course
doesn't
of
he
the
pitch
season.
good on the road?
Yeah, if he's a good pitcher, why doesn't he pitch good on the road?
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Well, you had him on the ropes. You had him on the
Yeah.
friggin' ropes, and you had him back to pitching like crap on the road, and you let him off the hook. Let him off the hook.
Let's go through the game. We'll have our Padres wrap-up coming up right after this.
It's gonna be a
Check
short one.
traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, guys, we're seeing the usual slowing in the usual spots. Yeah, we're looking at you, westbound 52, heading out of Santee. But fortunately, at this time, no incidents, no accidents, no surprises getting in your way. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame, it's a shame, it's a shame, it's a shame if they lose.
Oh, a shame indeed.
It's a complete crap.
Oh, I did not like that.
Here are the lowlights from yesterday's game.
Are you kidding me?
Boo.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
We'll give it 16 minutes of salt, and then we'll, get back on the bump and figure it out.
It's not your fault.
Blanco batting left-handed, swings at the first pitch, grounds into a rise, and it goes in between the wickets into right field. Raleigh will come in and score, and that stolen base big for the Mariners. They take a 1-0 lead here in the second. King delivers. That's a line drive base hit into right center field. Braley rounding third on his way. Merrill's throw is cut by a rise. An RBI single for Polanco, and the Mariner lead is now 2-0. 2-2 now. Peralta swings, loops it up the middle, caught by Crawford just onto the outfield grass, and the ball game is over. Munoz and the Mariners hold on. They shut the Padres out 2-0 this afternoon, and they sweep this 2-game set.
Well, we weren't able to get the big hit we needed it. We faced really good pitching, faced upper-level pitching, These guys have good arms. Miller threw the ball well, just like Gilbert.
Like Nelson.
Commanding all his pitches, throwing it where he wanted to. Thought the at-bats were tough. Thought we created some opportunities. You face good pitching, there's not going to be an abundance of them. And when you do get them, got to get that proverbial big hit. We just weren't able to do it today.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Let's be honest. So when Peralta, if you were watching on television at least, I don't know if it looked different if you were live in the ballpark, but when the ball left the bats, 2-run single, game's tied, right?
No question.
That's the thought everybody had seeing that. Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Yeah.
One of those just quirks of perspective and not knowing exactly how hard a ball is hit off the bat, but the trajectory and the angle of which it headed toward the outfield screamed 2-run single to me at that moment.
It did. And had that ball been screaming a little bit more, it may have fallen. But listen, man, the weird thing about this week, when you were out on Monday, we had Tim Flannery in, and we specifically asked him about the art of coaching third base. And we asked him about Tim Leeper in particular. Now, he knows Tim. He loves Tim, thinks Tim's a great, great dude. And I must have gone over the plays yesterday in the second inning 1,000 times. In my head, I'm like, all right, the base hit by you had runners on first and second with David Peralta up. He hits a soft knock through the right side.
Right. Yeah, you got a slow runner at second.
Very slow. A lot of people were saying, "Oh man, you got to send him there based on who's coming up behind you." And then he didn't. He didn't. He held him there, which, by the way, less than with one out, a decent move. Then he sent him on the Ha-Sung Kim lazy pop fly to center, which Julio Rodriguez played it absolutely perfect. Did the full circle around it, had full momentum coming into the plate through a one-hop strike right to home, and he was thrown out at the plate, inning over, double play. And he just got roasted on Twitter yesterday. I was asking Timmy about, when that happens, and he said, I would vomit. I would vomit after a game like I did something like that. I would absolutely vomit. It's very convenient for us to blame umpires or third base coaches or blah, 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 blah. You have to hit. You've got to hit the baseball. You've got to hit the baseball with authority. Okay? One run's not going to get it done. The whole tenor of the game could have changed, but it didn't. You got to pick yourself up. You can't then go cold for 5 more innings at the dish. I'm not blaming Tim Leeper at all. It's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I would have probably, if I was going to send him on one, it probably would have been the Peralta hit and not the Rodriguez.
And in hindsight, that's pretty easy to say that was probably the better opportunity to send. Now, you don't know what the next opportunity is going to be. You could have sent him on the single. He gets thrown out at home.
And everyone loses their mind. It's Donovan Solano.
And then, Ha-Sung Kim lines a single to left, and they end up not scoring because they sent him. Or you can not send Solano on the fly ball to center, and Brett Sullivan then just makes it out, and you don't score that way either. Just because you made an out at home plate doesn't necessarily make it the wrong decision. Now, you always, in hindsight, go, well, I would have liked to have tried something else because we know it didn't work the way I did it. But it doesn't necessarily mean it was the wrong decision. Sometimes there are no right decisions in baseball.
Right.
Maybe there was no way the Padres were scoring that inning. Perhaps every decision that Tim Leeper could have made in that choice would have been wrong.
If there's ever been a situation like that where both choices were wrong, I think you found it yesterday. I really do. And again, you know how I am. I'm not riding for. I put it on the players and their lack of execution to not win that baseball game against a pitcher that has not pitched well on the road at all. And again, you had him on the ropes. And you didn't take advantage again, and your offense is scuffling right now. You got to get it together. The break's going to do them well, but we're not on vacation yet. We're not on vacation. They're not on vacation. They got 3 games left. They got to show some heart and some fight in these last 3.
But ultimately, like yesterday's game wasn't that different than the rest of the games this season. They put the ball in play. Bryce Miller, 1 strikeout over his 6 innings. They put the ball in play.
Yeah.
They just
much of the same formula.
They just didn't, a lot of the times the Padres have scored a lot of runs. They don't hit the ball any harder. They just find holes.
Yeah.
They string together hits. They have that 4-run inning. It's not all screaming line drives all over the place.
Not all bombs.
They need the ball to fall in sometimes to put together their rallies. It didn't yesterday. It's a flaw of the San Diego Padres, but it's a flaw of a lot of teams as well. Michael King was terrific. 9 strikeouts.
Spectacular.
Much more dominant than Bryce Miller was.
Much more.
On the mound. Much more dominant than Bryce Miller. Padres, though, just didn't take advantage of any of their opportunities. They had more hits, but not at the right times. That does happen in baseball sometimes. It doesn't mean the Padres are okay, but it also doesn't mean that everything's a disaster as well. They could go out
this is why
tomorrow, and I wouldn't be surprised if those started falling in, and they have a big inning and score 6 or 7 runs.
So final score: Mariners 2, Padres 0. Mariners had 2 runs, 4 hits. Their expected batting average for the game was 177. We had 0 runs, 6 hits. Our expected batting average was 242, which that's nothing crazy, but it's certainly better than them. They found holes. They took advantage of an error. That was brutal. That was a brutal sequence from Luis Arraez, and again, that's the knock on Luis Arraez.
It's just you've pretty much he had 1 bad game defensively, but pretty much he got through the entire time of Luis Arraez playing at first base.
Yeah.
Okay, he did okay, and then the final game, likely that he's at first base because Xander Bogaerts is probably back and Jake Cronenworth returns. He commits the critical error that puts you behind in the second inning. It's like just one more day that we had to get through.
That was the Billy Buckner from Beantown play there. It sucked. I don't even think it hit his glove, man. It just went right through his legs. So listen, but again, it's 1 run. Remember when errors were fatal at the beginning of the year? Ha-Seong Kim would boot one. Next guy would hit a 3-run homer. You got to pick him up, offense. You got to pick up Michael King that's out there shoving his ass off for you. K and 9 guys just doing a brilliant job. Already over his innings limit, previous innings pitched in a season. He is grinding for you. Get out there and get that guy a win yesterday off a pitcher that you could have handled, and you didn't.
So Padres will take today off. They will have their final series of the first half starting on Friday when the Atlanta Braves come to town. And obviously you don't want to go into the All-Star break like 7 straight losses and under 500. So pretty important series coming up this weekend against the Atlanta Braves. Want to make sure you win that season series as well. We'll come back. We got Real or Fake on a Thursday, Throwback Thursday, chance to qualify for Las Vegas. Some injury report updates on the Padres as well next on The Fan. Just a couple of notes. Kind of had a funky start to the program with some weird technical difficulties. It is an Eno Sarris Smart Baseball Thursday. Eno will join us at 8:35 this morning. And we also have some more Fogarty tickets to give away when he's coming to the Rady Shell in September. I did not catch mine.
Sorry about that.
There, I picked it up. All right, I'm good now. So that's a couple of the things we have coming up for you on the program today. Again, we're just a couple of minutes from Real or Fake. If you want to try your luck to qualify for the getaway to Las Vegas, we'll play our game on a Throwback Thursday here in a couple of minutes. As I mentioned, did get some injury updates again yesterday from the San Diego Padres, including Xander Bogaerts going back out on rehab assignment with the Lake Elsinore Storm. And as I understand it, I saw a couple of videos of singles. He had 2 hits in the game.
Was that surprising that he played in AAA last weekend, came back to San Diego, and then went down to A-ball?
I think it's logistics because there was.
I'm sure he just probably had a doctor's appointment or something here in San Diego, maybe.
No, I think. They remember the team was in Texas last week against the Rangers, so he had a short trip from Dallas to El Paso. Now the team's here in San Diego, so he wants to be with the Padres as much as possible. And this keeps him as close to the team as he can.
Sure.
And with an expected return, he doesn't have to go that far. It just goes up to the freeway to Lake Elsinore. He can be back. He can probably go sleep in his own bed again tonight, go back to Lake Elsinore tonight for a second game is the plan. And then likely on Friday, I would think, would be activated to return to the Padres. So he had 2 hits. As I was reading Matt Fryer's description of his second at-bat, I was trying to understand what happened. It sounds like he was at the plate. There was a pitch in the dirt that bounced off the catcher, like in front of the plate, and he just kind of, to try to help out, just knocked it back to the catcher. With his bat.
Yep.
And the umpire called him out.
Rang him up.
Doing that.
Interference. Yeah. Can't touch it.
Just let it go. It's a live ball at the moment.
Yeah.
I don't even know if there was anyone on base, but
I don't know either. I'm assuming that there probably was.
I guess so. Otherwise, it really would.
Otherwise, it would not matter.
Kind of stupid. It didn't matter either way. But for anyone who came out to see Xander Bogaerts and wanted to see him have an at bat, and the Padres, want him to get as many at bats as possible. Thank you to that umpire for, I guess, taking the bat out of his hands.
Biggest night of his life. Well, he's going to tell. I threw out Xander Bogaerts, by the way, and I texted his buddies. I just threw out Xander in a.
He wasn't ejected. You just got an at bat taken away from him.
I rung him up. I went to the rule book on him, which is fine. It's the rule.
It is the rules.
Yeah.
Rules are the rules.
Rules are the rules.
But it wasn't what I expected. So the other 2 at bats though went well. He played 7 innings in the field. He was at second base.
Good.
Which is one of the roundtable topics coming up later again is, the possibility that Ha-Sung Kim is someone you could look to make a deal on this month. Whether, it's simply because he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. You can get something. You could get a reliever. You could get pitching and move Xander back to shortstop. Is that something that you think the Padres are considering going into the trade deadline? We know they're looking for help. We know they're looking for starting pitching, another bullpen arm, maybe even an outfield bat. But could they also deal from their major league roster in kind of a mixed sort of trade deadline strategy?
They could, and they probably are thinking about it. And it's not only you that hates it. It would be Manny and Toddy and Merrill and everybody.
It's a very realistic and worthy conversation.
Sure. Yeah, it's absolutely a conversation to have. It
absolutely could and maybe in some ways should happen, but I don't like it.
I don't like it either, and those guys aren't going to like it either. So if that's the risk you're willing to run for the chemistry of the team, if you think we've got good enough chemistry.
But you throw him into a package, that could soften the blow for what you got to give up in prospect capital.
No question. But, who needs one right now? The
middle infield,
middle infield, I would say. And actually,
he could play anywhere.
He could play 3 positions in the infield. So, but the glaring needs are the Los Angeles Dodgers, which I don't want to do, and the San Francisco Giants, which I also don't want to do. He can certainly sign with one of those teams in the offseason if he's a free agent and nobody signs him and trades for him and extends him right away. I doubt he would do that. But yeah, man, he's one of those guys.
Let's be honest. I don't think the Padres are going to re-sign him at the end of this offseason. And there's a good chance that one of those 2 teams does sign him. So if you operate from that realistic viewpoint that Ha-Seong Kim is going to be a Dodger or a Giant next season, and I'd say there's at least a coin flip's chance that he will be.
It's like one of those two teams or the field.
Would you rather have something for him or just have nothing, and he's also a Dodger or a Giant? I get it seems distasteful to trade him to a division rival. But isn't it worse to let him go to a division rival for nothing when you could at least get something for him for the last couple of months here, when it's a position of strength and you have other holes and needs you need to address?
Adam says, call me crazy. Wouldn't contending teams be the only teams to trade for him? Yeah, they're both contenders.
Of course.
Those are both contenders. You're not going to ship him off to the Marlins.
The Rockies
don't need him. Nobody's going to take a rental.
But with so many teams in the mix,
there's nothing other than our visceral reaction. There's nothing worse about sending him to the Dodgers versus the Giants versus the Reds versus the Pirates. Any team.
Adam's point, though,
that's in a playoff contender, you are going to help another team.
Right.
Now, maybe if you send him to the American League would be
what
ideal.
are you going to get back for him? They're not if they're contenders, they're not going to give you, hey, take our number 3 starting pitcher. Who's dealing from a position of great wealth, starting pitcher wise?
It's possible that there's some extra bullpen arms on a team somewhere.
You can get a reliever and
a
prospects, and then you put those prospects in another package to get your starting
prospects
pitcher.
to flip for pitching.
Exactly,
yeah.
Paulie. It's
get creative.
It gives you more ammunition
who better than AJ Preller to get creative?
to potentially pull off another deal.
All right, go fleece somebody then. I'll miss him. It's not me. I don't got to play with him every day, but those guys will tremendously. Toddy loves him. Manny loves him. Xander loves him. Jackson Merrill loves him. They all love him. They all do. Hosmer loved him when Hosmer was here. They all love him. So again, that's the thing that you're risking, which is it's business. Ha-Seong Kim knows it's a business. Manny, all the guys I just listed that love him, they also know it's a business. They also know they play for the Padres, where you're never really safe until you get a 10-year deal.
The fact that we're having this conversation right now, and like we just mentioned, it's a very realistic possibility in the next couple of weeks. Does it make you upset that they didn't trade him in the offseason when his value was maybe at its highest?
Not really. We do have so many. It's a hindsight thing. Fritz says Kim has very little trade value. I don't believe that for a second. I really don't.
Well, any player with only 2 months has limited trade value.
Limited.
You're not going to get.
But he's got. Oh, you mean 2 months remaining?
2 months remaining on their deal. You know you're not going to get a premium package back.
But if you're the San Francisco Giants, you're like, if we trade for him, he will stay. More than likely. His best friend plays center field for them, Jung Ho Lee. Great Asian population there. Knows Bob Melvin. I mean, come on, dude. They need what the hell was that? They need a shortstop, So I think it just really depends on the fit. I don't want to see him go. My kids don't want to see him go. They love him. He's
awesome king.
The fan favorite, certainly. But yeah, I also understand you got to do what you got to do. It's just tough. It's tough to be put in this position
we
year
went
after
through
year.
it last year with Hader and Snell.
Yeah.
We weren't in the mix, really. We were barely hanging on, and we knew they were going to walk.
It's different this year. They're more in the mix this year than they were last year.
They really are.
But it's the same in the sense that you had 2 guys that you knew were going to walk, and you had those conversations last July. Should we try to get something for them, knowing we probably aren't bringing either of them back, or...
It's not the same.
And you could trade him, and then Xander gets hurt again, or Manny gets hurt, and you'll go, I wish we still had Ha-Seong Kim. There's an absolute danger to trading Ha-Seong Kim.
Yeah.
But there's also a chance that Xander comes back. He's playing every day. He's playing pretty well. He's got to be in the lineup. Manny's got to be in the lineup. Jake's got to be in the lineup. Ariza's got to be in the lineup. And you don't necessarily have a place for him every single day. So other than, DH, but you've got Solano, who's done pretty well from the right-handed side of the plate. And it may be that he's just kind of a spare piece for the last couple of months. A good defender, but not a huge impact guy.
It'd be tough to see him go, man.
Who wants to play real or fake? Give us a call, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We'll get to our game in just a minute or so. I did mention Mike Shildt had the update. Joe Musgrove, and did it in front of the media, threw off the mound, off a slope, as Mike Shildt called it, which is a big step. It's different than throwing on flat ground. It's different than long toss. It's different than just weighted ball. Getting up on the mound and throwing some pitches, even if it's just fastballs, and not even 100% fastballs. It's a big step for Joe, and Mike Shildt said the next step, we'll see how does he recover. How does he feel the next day and the next day? If it goes well, then he'll take the next step and the next step. And so far, he is taking every step they want him to see. Not going to be back, next week. He's on the 60-day. Won't be back until likely at least August. But so far, so good in his progression back. In crossing your fingers that Joe could be part of this team the last 2 months of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we need all the help we can get right now. All the help we can get. Our buddy Mike, who's a huge Ha-Seong Kim fan, and hey, don't get me wrong, Mikey, I am too. He said Kim's the 9th best shortstop in all of baseball. He has the 2nd highest F4 on the Padres. Sorry, but it's moronic to trade him if you're trying to
That's
compete.
also why you might be able to get something for him.
Correct.
Other teams realize that as well.
Yeah.
I saw people, and I know we're going to get to really fake here. I also saw people talking about he has a mutual option.
Yeah.
So what does that mean when you trade somebody with a mutual option? Does it work the same way with the new team? Like
Yeah, contract just transfers.
Both
so that
sides
they would have the
sign
decision whether or not they want to pick up the option or not.
for another $7 million.
My guess is
year.
that that's not enough for Ha-Seong Kim to pick it up. He should be in line for a raise.
Yeah, a raise.
Based on what he's done the last 4 seasons. Maybe not a huge one, but he's probably, I don't know, $12 to $15 million player a year. So I would say he would decline that option.
Right. Yep.
Padres might pick it up.
Sure.
If he wanted to, but I doubt he will for just 1 season because he's in line for a multi-year deal, more money, no reason for him to take the option.
Yeah.
So I don't think that really is relevant. All right, I see some callers on the line. It is time to play today's game of Real or Fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
All right, let's try to qualify someone for our grand prize drawing. It's a 2-night stay at the Rio, Las Vegas. Dinner for 2, day bed at the Rio pool. The Rio is back. New ownership, newly remodeled rooms, 4 sparkling new pools, and a brand new food hall. The Rhythm of Vegas. Book now at reallasvegas.com. I'm just taking one at random here. Let's go. Is this Jason?
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Jason. Welcome to Real or Fake. Today's game is all about 1984. Yesterday, Padres honoring their 1984 National League Championship team. Paulie, where were you in 1984?
6 years from being a thought.
Not even born. Wow. Woodsy, you were not in San Diego at the time. But
no.
You should be able to help here. So,
is this about baseball or the year 1984?
What else happened in the world of sports in 1984?
Oh,
Today on Real
okay.
or Fake, I will give you a statement. You tell me if it's real, true, Jason, or fake, false about the year 1984. Woodsy can help you if you'd like as well. You ready to play?
I'm ready to go.
All right,
Let's do it.
4 out of 7 is good enough to win. All right, round number 1. Real or fake? In January, the Los Angeles Raiders won Super Bowl 18. Real or fake, Jason?
Woodsy, do you have any idea on this one?
I think it's real.
He thinks it's real. Jason, what are you going to go with?
Noted Raiders fan, Stephen Woods.
Huge.
Let's go with real.
It is real, yeah. The L.A. Raiders, Super
that
Bowl
against
champions, the Washington Football Club.
Washington Redskins.
Yes, they were the Redskins at the time. That's
remember
one. Good to go. All right, let's go to round number 2. Real or fake? The 1984 Winter Olympics were held in Calgary, Canada. Real or fake, Jason?
Ooh. I'm thinking real. What do you think, Woodsy?
I'm rolling with you, dog. I got no idea.
Jason, what do you think?
All right. Let's go real.
Calgary was 1988. Sarajevo, Yugoslavia in 1984. There were Winter Olympics. That was when they were all in the same year, not in different years.
Yeah.
Remember, they used to be all in the same year. All right, that's one. We'll go to round number 3 here. Jack Nicklaus wins his final major title at the Masters. Real or fake in 1984, Jason?
Ooh. I'm thinking real. You have any insight, Woods?
Bro, my gut is telling... All right, so in 84, I was 9. My dad, noted Jack Nicklaus hater. I feel like I didn't even meet my dad till I was 10. And I feel like Nicholas won after I met my dad.
Ooh,
I'm doing some deductive.
Got some deductive reasoning going on.
I'm gonna say fake, bro. I think he won one after this.
Jason,
I hope I'm not wrong, but that's just my gut.
Okay, I'm rolling with Woods.
All right.
Yeah, remember his comeback? Yes, sir. That was 1986. You're right. After you met your dad.
Yes.
That is correct.
Yes.
All right, Fake.
My dad loathes that man. Loathes
What
him.
did Jack Nicklaus do to Gary Woods?
I can't stand him. He's an Arnie guy. Arnold Palmer.
All right, let's go to round number 4. You got 2 correct. BYU is crowned college football national champions by the Associated Press after their win in the Holiday Bowl. Real or fake, Jason?
Ooh. For some reason, I'm going to say real on that one.
He's going to say real. Woods is shaking his head no, and Woods, you're wrong.
Oh,
It is real.
I thought it was 80.
No, that was 84. Yeah, they won it here in San Diego in the Holiday Bowl.
Who was quarterback? The Ty Detmers was
no,
later.
that
Yeah.
was that wasn't Jim McMahon. No.
Bernie Kosar? No.
No, Bernie played at
Robbie Bosco
Miami.
was quarterback for BYU.
Bobby
BYU in
Bosco?
1984.
Robbie Bosco.
Robbie Bosco.
After Steve
All right, all you
Young
need
graduated.
is one more.
One more gets it done.
And gets it done. All right, real or fake, Jason? Wayne Gretzky leads the Edmonton Oilers to a Stanley Cup title. Real or fake?
Let's see. I know he's got traded to the Kings shortly after that. I think it was like 86. I'm going to go real on that one.
He's going to go real. Woods shaking his head again. And Woods, you are wrong again. That was a Gretzky Oilers year. And that is it. That's a win, Jason.
Good job, bro.
Congratulations. Hang on the line. Paulie will get your information. A well-played game. A couple more here. Let's try Akeem Olajuwon, Michael Jordan, and Charles Barkley were all taken in the top 5 of the NBA draft.
Yes, true.
That is true. 1984. And former USC football star O.J. Simpson lit the Olympic cauldron at the L.A. Coliseum to begin the 1984 Summer Games.
True.
False. It was Rayford Johnson.
Oh.
Although O.J. did carry the torch through Los Angeles.
OJ did a lot of stuff in Los Angeles.
He did.
Yeah.
Did not light the Olympic flame, though, in 1984. Well played game, Jason. Congratulations. We'll put you into the drawing for the trip to the real Las Vegas. All right, we'll come back. We've got Don't Do This is coming up next.
There's a lot of, I think for Do This, there's a lot of U.S. men's soccer fans, U.S. men's team soccer
Happy.
fans that are very happy today.
Probably a lot of soccer talk in our next segment
Yeah.
because there was a big Don't Do This moment in Charlotte last night in the Copa America as well. Get to that coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't do this. Brought to you by the Craft Taco in Sorrento Valley. Craft Taco is some of the best quality tacos in all of San Diego. Go to thecrafttaco.com. Take a look at their happy hour specials today. It's thecrafttaco.com. What's?
It was all over my Twitter feed last night. Everyone was sending it to me. Woodsy, DDT. Yeah, I'm talking about the Copa America semifinals last night in Charlotte. Uruguay players, including Darwin Nunez, went into the stands, Ben, and fought Colombia supporters. And it got pretty ugly. It reminded everybody of the Malice at the Palace, which there's a great documentary. I don't know where it is. I think maybe it's on ESPN. Maybe if it's on Netflix. They talked about Ron Artest going into the stands, and that you saw the drinks flying and people ganging up and just fights, back up. Look, I mean, it's something that is so gnarly to think about being in the middle of.
It really established the ultimate rule is that if you're a player, you can never go into the stands. You have to turn the other cheek. No matter what they're saying to you, even if they're throwing things at you, you can't go after fans. But in this case, I'm not entirely sure that is true, because the reason they went into the stands, Woods, this was the small section where the Uruguayan families were sitting. And they saw their families getting into fights with Colombia's fans. And people were throwing things and throwing punches. And you can make the case that they were simply going up to protect their families, which, honestly, I don't know that I can totally blame them for.
No, and they were really, really hot too about losing that game. It's chippy, and you see that. You see the play on the field get chippy is one thing. Then you see and you hear the fans going nuts. I mean, it is like, I was thinking about it last night. I don't know that SDFC games are ever going to get like this wild, Benny, but the potential, I guess, is always there. It's just nuts.
And, maybe there's some don't do this for the security and not keeping the fans a little more in line in the stands. Something went wrong last night, though.
One of Uruguay's players, Jose Jimenez, blamed the incident on lack of security, saying he went over there to protect his family, accusing fans of drinking too much and starting trouble. This is a disaster. Our families are in danger. Not one single policeman. Woo! It was the video. And, of course, you know what happens. The one video comes out, and then you start getting videos from inside the eye of the fight. Everyone starts posting theirs. It was bananas, man. I'm too old for that mess.
All right, this one a little more lighthearted when it comes to DDT, but, serious to the competitors just the same. So
this story gave me strong vibes of the fish weights.
Yes,
last
fish
summer.
weight vibe.
Yes, you're right. Kind of a similar type of story. So, of course, last Thursday was the Nathan's Famous hot dog eating contest, 4th of July at Coney Island. No Joey Chestnut, didn't compete, had the whole plant-based endorsement that kept him out. Patrick Bertoletti won with 58 hot dogs won, but one of the top finishers was Nick Wary, who was given a score of 51.75. After the fact, though, and here's the don't do this, according to the New York Post, a couple of anonymous sources say that Wary, after the competition was over, walked around and grabbed someone else's empty plate and added it to his pile. And that is how they do the original count. Every hot dog plate has 5 hot dogs on it. So if you have like 10 empty plates, that's 50 right off the bat. And then they look at what's remaining in front of you and go, and you ate 2.5 more there, so 52.5. So
they did the original count, and he had
45, they thought, 46,
plates.
and then 9 plates. And all of a sudden, they did a recount. They had 10 plates, and they added 5 to his total. Well, they did an investigation, and the results are a little unclear. Major League Eating, the governing body, says they don't change results after they're already official, but they're not saying whether or not they think he did it or not. He denies that he cheated, although says if they want to lower his score by 5, he's okay with it as well.
Well, that makes no sense.
No sense at all, right?
No sense whatsoever.
So he is
There's a hot dog investigation on this?
A hot dog investigation, yeah.
They had a hot dog investigator.
Wouldn't you know how many hot dogs you ate, or once you get to that point, you've kind of lost track in your mind?
black out.
Yeah,
but there needs to be people need to be.
It's like a count. I thought they had like official counters who were there watching them swallow and then open their mouth and okay, it's gone. Here's another one. 2, 3.
Right.
I didn't realize it was simply counting empty plates.
Right.
That's how they did it.
I had no idea either. I also didn't think people would put weights into the belly of a bass. But listen, people are weird. They're very, very strange.
They like to win.
Anything to win, man. They're always looking for that
But winning
edge.
doesn't mean anything if you cheated to win.
I guess not.
Then you don't really crave winning. You crave the attention and accolades, but not the actual
But
accomplishment.
the thing is, like with the fishing story, it's not like
the prize.
But it's the prize. But it's not like those guys were like. It's not like the other guys go, man, we worked so much harder than you did. Like, we put in the work.
There is training involved in hot dog
There is,
eating.
but these guys in hot dog eating, but like in the fishing, man, we
Yeah,
put
that's
in all the hard work, and you guys threw the weight. Well, we were out there fishing too. We just put weights in our fish, but like you didn't put in extra hours. It's not like steroids. or
Fishing's
something
one
like
of those
that.
weird sports that, to me, feels like, okay, everyone goes out there and it's just kind of luck who gets the heaviest fish, right?
I mean,
you can't see the
the
fish
heaviest,
underwater.
right, yeah, but
when it's about who gets the heaviest fish, feels like it's entirely luck.
Right.
But like poker, where you have to get the right cards, the same guys do tend to win, though,
They
those
do.
fishing competitions. So there has to be some sort of
skill.
skill
They know where they are
involved.
Yeah, and they know how to. I don't know.
Reel them in somehow.
But like weighting down a fish is not. It's not this like you didn't cheat. You didn't cheat like yourself of like hard work. You know what I mean? Like, man, this was a real
You actually had
short.
to work harder to weigh
yes,
down the
yes,
fish.
you had to work harder to like try to get that through. One of my favorite stories that we've ever done on the show. All right, how about a little doo-doo this? I know many people have about this.
Mega doo-doo.
The U.S. Soccer Federation announced yesterday that Greg Berhalter, much maligned Greg Berhalter, has been relieved of his duties as head coach of the U.S. men's national team, effective immediately yesterday. And U.S. Soccer Sporting Director
That'll
Matt...
change things, right?
Yeah, now it'll be on the right track, Paulie. Matt Crocker will lead and has launched a search for Berhalter's replacement. Many people talking about Jurgen Klopp as the next potential coach of men's soccer in America. And I don't know.
He's like the dream get.
He's the dream get. Yeah. So, but a lot of people were very happy to see this reign come to an end. And I believe it. It was on social media, so it must be true. Somebody said that Gio Reyna, about 6 minutes after it was announced, hit it on Instagram with the like, all right, good, get him out of here. They notoriously butted heads. So yeah, man, we'll see who they get. But now when the Klopp rumor is out there, and if you aren't able to afford him or get him, you do the thing what the Lakers did, where you're like, oh,
it's funny. There's very
second,
few
third best.
actual American candidates to coach the U.S. national team. I think Steve Cherundolo is one of the names that's brought up.
You just made that up.
I did not make that up. He's won the MLS title, played for the U.S. national team. But most of the major coaches that we're going after are not Americans. They're from other countries where they do soccer better than we do.
Hector really wants to call in on this. 833-288-0973. He's in my DMs all day. You can call in and give your take if you like.
More soccer talk.
We can have more soccer talk, but right now that is don't and do this for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Bonus do this to Tim Flannery for a very nice rendition of the national anthem yesterday on the 1984 throwback day for the San Diego Padres.
Good week for Timmy.
Bonus don't do this, and I'll ask Woods why. I thought you were going to be there.
Yeah, we pulled the ripcord about halfway there.
Like you were on the way.
Yeah.
Does this require a story, an explanation?
I mean, I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old.
You just weren't feeling it.
No, I mean, by the time we hit the split, we looked at Waze, and it was still an hour. We were going to be late for the national anthem anyway.
That's why you were probably going.
By the time we hit the split, it was still an hour. And I was like...
It's a traffic issue.
Yeah, so
It wasn't a behavioral issue.
Not real. I mean...
Hannah was being good.
There's always behavioral issues. Always. It never ends. And we went home, and it was good. I got to go watch the game.
Okay.
And actually pay attention, so it was fine. I gave the tickets to Tier 1.
You did, which was nice of you.
Yeah, he was very happy.
Until, of course, he had to sit through a 2-0 loss.
Fair enough. I was playing chess, not checkers, by not going to that game.
All right, we'll come back. I've got a 1984 roundtable question for you as well to get to. Coming up next with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Next hour, 97.3 The Fan, brought to you by the Frozen Ropes baseball and softball training facilities. Frozen Ropes now signing up athletes age 6 through 12, baseball and softball summer camps, half-day, full-day options available. Make it a Frozen Ropes summer. For more information, visit SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. That's SanDiegoFrozenRopes.com. Yes, Steve Cherundolo is a real person. Went to Mount Carmel High School. Was local. Played for the U.S. national team as one of the candidates to be the coach. Now, Hector didn't call in. You gave him actually permission to call in.
He does this all the time. He does
talk some soccer this morning.
Time.
Don't know why you did. That was very unlike you. It's not like you want to take this show on a giant soccer tangent.
I don't, but he's DM'd the Benham Woods account. He's DM'd my account. Let's go. Can I tell you? Yes. Yes.
Well, I am now putting an end to the offer.
Oh,
it's now
it's
too
over.
late.
Sorry,
it is
Hector.
too late because we're moving on, and we're going to talk some more baseball here.
The dictator has spoken.
Specifically, a little 1984 Padres question for you. We'll do that after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Got it.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware on University Avenue in Hillcrest. Looking pretty good on our roads. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a stalled car stop on 15 just past Miramar Way, moving that over to the right shoulder. The Grilling Store Ace Hardware on University Avenue in Hillcrest, where you'll find all the best brands for outdoor cooking, plus a knowledgeable staff. The Grilling Store at Hillcrest Ace Hardware, where service still matters. And Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So the Padres had a number of the 1984 alums out yesterday as they gave away the throwback hats. Saw many stars from that team. Tempe was on the TV broadcast. Dave Dravecki was there. Terry Kennedy, obviously. Tim Flannery was there and performed the national anthem, which was fantastic. And, of course, the Garv was there. Mm-hmm. Senatorial candidate Steve Garvey. And this one always is a dilemma for me. And I'm going to bring it up at the roundtable later today. But it's something Padres fans have been talking about for years and years and years. And nothing ever changes, but we keep talking about it. That is, should the San Diego Padres unretire the number 6 that they retired for Steve Garvey? Can you unretire a number?
I don't
First
think
of all,
you can.
Once it's retired.
Well, I mean,
other
if you're other than like a murderer,
O.J.
or something,
Simpson,
right? Nah, look, I really,
type situation. Do you ever?
I'm not doing this again. I stepped in this
authentically unretire a number.
You knew this too, by the way. How dare you ask this question? You knew what happened to me. Remember?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
You absolutely do. Turn the mics off.
I have a very short memory.
Yeah.
Okay. Ultimately,
I'll say it. I think it was a stupid decision in the beginning.
Right,
but
I'm not saying a word.
I'm
pleading the fifth.
It's one of my fondest memories as a Padres fan.
That's what a lot of people say that were there.
Was
and
the
that
home
remember.
run in 1984 in Game 4 of the National League Championship Series.
Was that the first
And
number?
when I see the number 6, even though I know Steve Garvey's more of a Dodger than a Padre. And I know what you're saying, Paul.
That was the first number they retired?
That maybe was it I think Dave Winfield maybe maybe it was Gar. I don't remember. It may have been even before because they put
Winfield,
it up. They put the 6 up at the queue on the wall where the home run went out. It was almost more like to mark the spot than necessarily as a true full number retirement. But it is one of my absolute fondest childhood memories is that home run.
When they played it yesterday.
It's so cool.
It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. The Oppo, Lee Smith. And
of course, I'm not a Gar fan anymore. He's too much of a Dodger for me. Obviously, gets political now
he
as well.
14 years with the Dodgers.
Remember when he came into the old show on the old station and brought us King's Hawaiian rolls?
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty solid. And he made a video for my mom, who, by the way, absolutely loves Steve Garvey, as did everybody's mom. And
of course,
that was a fond memory.
Yeah.
You know, we had just started as a show, and he came in,
such a
and he was
dilemma
great.
for me.
He was great to interview.
And you know what? I think we should retire Jake Cronenworth's number for that double he hit against the Dodgers. Well, let's retire Josh Hader's number because he struck out the side in the NLCS back in 2022. That was pretty cool. We should retire his number.
I think it's a really hard question because I don't blame Padres fans who don't feel like it fits necessarily. You know, having Garvey mentioned alongside Tony Gwynn and Dave Winfield and Randy Jones, it's the old Sesame Street. One of these things is not like the other, and you got to pick the one out of the four that doesn't really match. Garv doesn't really match the other ones. I get that. I totally get Padres fans who say that.
It's got to be weird as hell for him too, right?
I would think so.
To come back and be like, oh, hi, everybody. But then again, I mean,
I guarantee you ask him, he's a Dodger.
Adulation's adulation.
Yes, he is.
So,
he's absolutely a Dodger.
Which is fine.
But again, it is one of my absolute best Padres memories of my life. It was that when you're that age, what was I, like nine? And you're just really getting into baseball. And all of a sudden, your team, which has never been good, never made the playoffs in your lifetime or in your dad's lifetime, and he's been going to the game since they started.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they're in the playoffs, and they're down 2-0, and no one's surprised. Oh, they're going to get swept. This was a nice little story. And then they come back, but it looks like it's going to be over. The game, you know, you're moments away from being eliminated from the Cubs, and he steps up and hits that home run.
Lee Smith, by the way.
It's
Lee Smith.
You know, it's
nasty.
I loved the Jake's hit in the big inning against the Dodgers, beating him in the playoff series. It was amazing. There's been many amazing moments in Padres history. It's hard not to say that's still not the most amazing, incredible moment in Padres history.
Yeah.
It was a walk-off home run to save them in the National League Championship Series, and then they went on to go to the World Series the next day.
I know.
And the franchise history is totally different if he doesn't hit that home run. Totally different. Did it deserve a number retirement? I don't know. Probably not, but I'm really hesitant to go to the whole length of then unretiring it now that it's retired.
To me, that was putting a big spotlight on the lack of history up until that point, which is fine. If you didn't have a reason to retire a number, you shouldn't just come up with one.
Yeah, I think, Paulie, you make a good point.
Like Tony Gwynn, absolutely number retired.
But they didn't have Tony Gwynn back then.
I know, but when he came in and his career was over,
I think
no brainer. Trevor Hoffman,
given
number
like
51.
the perspective of history, and now that you have Trevor and you have Tony and you have more things about your franchise, you probably wouldn't have gone back and done that. But what a moment that was!
Yeah, can you put that toothpaste back in the tube? I don't know that you can. You know, unless, like you said, cut somebody's head off or something. You know,
there's certainly never going to be an unretirement ceremony.
No,
Jerry
my
Rice,
God.
Jerry Rice caught touchdowns with the Oakland Raiders across the bay. Are they going to retire his jersey?
Padres fans.
They had history though,
who are advocating for this. You have to know they're never going to have a big news conference and announce it's going to be unretired.
No.
The most you could ever hope for is it's kind of somewhat ignore it a little bit in the future, but I don't even think that's going to happen. They have a big, giant 6 statue there as you walk into Petco Park.
Again, I wasn't alive when this all happened, so maybe my perspective doesn't count. But it just seems like at that point they're going, we haven't retired anybody's number yet. We've been around for 30 years. What are we going to do? That's a great opportunity.
There was an element of that. Even at the time, I could tell there was an element of that to it. Didn't feel like that slam dunk, like other teams when they retire someone's number, you know, it's usually because they had a long stretch career, all their entire career with that team, or most of their Hall of Fame career was with that team. That wasn't Garv's case. It was the end of his career that was spent obviously mostly with your rival.
Carlos, I guess someone stole it.
The guy that made the original, we can't find him. So we're just going to...
So he goes into the dead of night.
We'll get around to replacing it one day, I'm sure. No. It's not. We haven't unretired
Oh,
it.
crap, dude. That killed me. Garvey, I don't know what happened. Somebody must have stolen it, grabbed it as a memento.
Whether you like it or not, Steve Garvey is an essential part of Padres history.
Sure.
That will never change. Like him or not like him, like the fact that the 6 is there, or probably you don't. It's never changing that he is always going to be a big part of Padres history and a good part of it as well. That's the thing. We're not talking about someone who did anything bad. This was an awesome thing that he did, and he played well for the Padres when he was here. He did. He absolutely did. And it's not like we over-celebrate things too much in San Diego when it comes to sports. You know, we have very few things that we actually can look back on fondly over the last 50 years of sports, mostly misery and failure. And this is one of the really, really, really good things that happened in San Diego sports. But a lot of people just want to kind of shove it under the rug because obviously he also played most of his career with another team.
How dare you, man? How dare you? I mean, literally.
I mean, they didn't even go on to win the World Series.
Right.
I think that element changes things a little bit too.
Right.
But again, I was 6 years from being born, so
yeah, you don't.
I guess I don't get to say anything.
Say.
But I think it was kind of.
All right, here's the other question that I have from 1984 that's coming into the roundtable. So, if you could add one player from the 1984 Padres to this Padres team for the last 2.5 months of the season, who would you pick? And keep now you can say Tony Gwynn. Obviously, you're taking 1984 Tony Gwynn, who was a batting champion.
Yeah, we need a right fielder.
And you do need a right fielder right now. But Tatis is coming back. Don't you need a pitching more, though?
I want Tony Gwynn in right field for this team today. Today would be great.
You wouldn't want a solid starter? Like put Eric Shao out there every 5th day?
No, I would take Tony Gwynn over Eric Shao every 5th day. Yes. As much as we need pitching, give me Tony Gwynn all day long. All day long. It's not even close.
And then when Tatis comes back, where do we move Tony?
Yeah, move Tony.
Make him the DH?
DH.
We also have Luis Arise, though, who's going to be DHing.
Be first baseman.
Which one do you have on the bench, Tony Gwynn or Luis Arise? Just when Tatis comes back?
Put those dudes 1 and 2 in the order. The pitcher's like, son of a bitch, there's nothing I can throw. Like, you're dead. You just don't even split them up. I just go back to back. First, third, just like that.
Gwynn Arise.
Gwynn Arise. Boom. They're done. Or Arise Gwynn. Done.
1984 Tony had a lot of speed. I think you put him first.
I'd love it.
And then you have Arise.
I would love
Move Tony first to third. That would be pretty devastating.
That would be pretty nasty, dude. But yeah, Goose wouldn't be the.
You need some bullpen help.
He wouldn't be the worst pick.
Multiple innings.
He'll go 2, 3, whatever you need. Beat the crap out of the other team if need be. Like he's.
I'd have to cover him the last couple of months of the year. That would be awkward.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm interested to see what everyone says on the roundtable. Not interested enough to listen, but
it's going to be a draft format, so you're not allowed to pick who the last person picked. Okay. So I assume Tony Gwynn's going to be chosen first. In fact, I'll let Tony Gwynn make the first pick there. Because presumably he's going to take his dad in that situation, which will.
He's like, no, Craig Lefferts. I'll take Kerry Kennedy. Great leader. What? He's your dad right there. That was great.
TK's not a horrible choice either,
isn't he? I saw. It was
my manager.
What are you doing to TK?
I saw
because he traded you.
Yeah. Me and him just don't get along. It's fine. He's a big personality. I'm a big personality. It doesn't always work. I saw Tempe yesterday on the broadcast, man, and I loved it. I love Tempe so much. Listening to him tell some old stories about, Dick Williams and all the guys. It was great. I know people get tired of celebrating a World Series loss. I was kind of felt that way. I didn't live here at the time. But when we did that friggin' roundtable last year at Fantasy Camp and we listened to all those stories, there was nothing like it. I could have sat there for another 2 hours. My man Ben moderated the whole thing. It was so good. And you see these guys and how appreciative they are of their time here and what it meant to them. It was awesome.
Adam's making fun of me. He goes, a 5th starter or a first ballot Hall of Famer? Eric Shao, 1984. 15 wins, 3.4 ERA, 206 innings pitched. I mean, that's better. I mean, we're talking about a frontline starter that you could add to your
it's
rotation.
Tony Gwynn, dude.
I get it. It was 1984. He wasn't a Hall of Famer yet. He was only in his
doesn't matter.
second season.
Batting champion and speedy, you said.
I get it.
So
I get it.
I'm all in, Tony Gwynn.
All right, that's all coming up at 10 o'clock in our roundtable. Next, though, we've got Eno Sarris in our 8 o'clock hour and more. All coming up here with Bennett Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we're halfway home on a Thursday. Ben and Woods 97.3. The Fan, great to be here with you. Padres, a bit of a skid right now, which I think, probably should have seen coming based on how the season has trended this year. You know, win a few, lose a few, et cetera, et cetera. But listen, not going to ruin our good time today. That's for sure. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
Benjamin.
It's like the Padres are like a carousel ride, up and down, up and down, up and down. Are we allowed to say that?
No.
No amusement park
No,
rides?
no. Do not invoke any sort of ride in any sort of amusement park ever.
They're like a yo-yo. It goes
Nope.
down, and then
Nope.
and then it goes down,
No.
and then it goes back up.
No.
That's not a ride.
Nope.
It's a toy.
No, can't do that either. Ben Higgins, you're
They're
from
like
the
a
neighborhood
boomerang.
sports.
They're going forward, and then they kind of come around
That's actually
and
good.
come back.
That's a good metaphor.
We can use boomerang. All right. Found one.
It's a roller coaster.
It is.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. It's a roller coaster.
It is.
You may have. It may have been prematurely used earlier this year.
That's a fair point. It is now, though.
And when Mike Schilt
We're
pushed
4 months in. Don't tell me
pushed
it's
back
not.
against it, maybe he was right. You were a little early, and you're calling the season a roller coaster after a month or so. It's not early anymore. This has been an absolute roller coaster ride. Paul, you had the stat earlier. Too much Morton said it, but here is the stretch from the earlier in the season. So, Padres went 5-1, then 0-5, 5-1, 0-5, 12-3, and now 0-4. It's as up and down as you're going to get in a baseball season.
12-3 was like the loop.
Yeah, that's as back and forth as you're going to see in a baseball season.
Yeah.
You know, normally you're going to have up and down stretches. Every team does, but they'll be a little bit softer on the edges. You know, it'll be 6-3, and then 4-7, and then it'll be 8-4, and then it'll be 2-5. This is very glaring, very distinct, very easy to see. When you go to like an ESPN page and you just have the schedule and you see the W's and L's all in a line, they're very much grouped. It's green and then it's red, and then it's green and then it's red, and then it's green and then it's red.
Paul's gonna kill me, but remember
I thought about it this morning.
The Padres heartbeat,
and I thought
Ben's Padres heartbeat.
I'll do it for summer break.
All right.
Up until
next week,
the unofficial first half of the season.
Yeah, we'll see how it ends against the Braves.
If you guys missed it, we did it last year. We gave up on it after like a week.
We were dying.
But we had for wins, the sound was
yes,
and for losses,
ding it.
So when they lost like 3 in a row, it was
ding it, ding it. Dang it.
So we just played them all together. It was like the heartbeat of the Padres, and it was funny as hell. And then it got really long. We'll get some new ones. We'll freshen it up this year.
We'll just do it for the entire first half of the season.
Yeah, first half of the season. We'll just play it
at
for
the
you guys
All-Star break.
On summer break.
It'll be the audio representation of what you can see visually. I'm on the page right now. The red, green, red, green, red, green, red, green. All the way through the season.
Red is when they tie.
Red, yeah.
Yeah, green and red. Next week, though, on Ben and Woods, as you know, we have summer break here on the program. We're still here. It's like summer school, basically, for us. We're here. There's no games or anything.
I never had to go to summer school.
I went to summer school in college just because I wanted to finish, because I wasted like 2 years with no credit, so I had to catch up. So I had to do summer school. But this is like summer school for us because we're still here. Is he making us do a round table next week? No games?
I think so.
Is he really?
Yeah.
This will be our third mid-season report.
Yeah, because this week's kind of a mid-season.
Yeah, we did it a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, the actual halfway point.
Yeah,
and then we'll
bang the round table next
have another mid-season round table next week.
We got no games.
Well, it's up to the moderator to come up with new and interesting topics for next week.
Did you make us do one? During summer break?
Maybe we can get actual players like in studio.
Oh, I'm sure that's what they want to do.
They're going to be flying. They'll be flying
break
out on Thursday to Cleveland, I think, to start the second half of the season next Friday.
Yeah, Cleveland.
Yep.
Another really hard team.
Cleveland, Washington, and Baltimore
this month, and I don't think
the Dodgers.
I'm not saying that these 4 losses are schedule necessarily driven, but the month of July is a fairly brutal one. It's the most brutal remaining month.
Yep.
Schedule-wise for the Padres. They take on pretty much nothing but good opponents the rest of this month. Atlanta, Cleveland, Washington Nationals aren't great, but they're still in the playoff hunt for sure. At Baltimore, and then the Dodgers. That's the rest of this month. Those are first-place teams. You got Cleveland, Baltimore, Los Angeles first-place teams. You got wild card leaders in the Braves and a wild card contender in Washington. Then in August, it definitely gets a little bit kinder. You got Rocky Series, Miami Series, Rocky Series. Pittsburgh may or may not still be, going forward at that point. We'll see what they do at the trade deadline. You got 2 series against Pittsburgh. It's not nearly as tough in August as it is in July, but July is a very brutal stretch for the San Diego Padres schedule-wise.
Yeah, it's tough. So next week we'll be in here on summer break. We'll be doing the recaps of the year. But if there's anything you guys want to talk about next week, that's just when we really get a chance to explore the space. We could get really freaky in here if we wanted to. You know what I mean?
Kind of hope we do.
Like freaky. We can do whatever we want. We have the empty canvas here, basically.
Ben's going to get a tattoo on the air.
That would be amazing. What will you do?
Would you do that, Ben?
We'll come up with some ideas.
No, I do not want a tattoo.
What if it's just like a little circle?
Like
a mole.
Like on your
Let's
leg.
circle one of your
just
moles.
another mole.
Like on your hip, even. Like,
Ooh,
so it won't
sexy
be
one
seen.
right here on your hip. That sexy little spot on your hip.
I guarantee somebody's a tattoo artist.
All right, I'm
listening
gonna-
right
what
now.
about
They
a
would
calf?
love to come
What
out.
about a calf?
I'm gonna come fully clean as well.
Okay.
I don't endure pain very well. And I know that there are people who really find the process of getting the tattoo painful.
Why did you say that like it was some big secret that we didn't already know?
My wife does not. She is they call it sitting well.
There's different parts of the body where it won't hurt as
Yeah,
much.
yeah, there's
We'll
parts
find
that
you a
won't
good
hurt
spot
you.
that it's not going to affect your TV career. Or anything
I know
like
it's
that.
not. Well,
we're not going to get you the Mike Tyson.
It would have to be
How about a
somewhere.
spider web around your neck?
It would have to be somewhere where I can't see it.
Right.
Because it would bother me to see it. I'd keep trying to rub it off.
I
don't
got one
like
on my back
when,
shoulder blade. I forget it's even there.
If someone ever, people write on their hands like a note.
Yeah.
Even if it washes off, it creeps me
It
out
bugs
to have
you.
like writing on my skin. So to have permanent writing on my skin, I think would really bother me.
Carlos says, get SD fat loss on your lower back like a tramp stamp. SD fat loss. I'll get eco water across my chest. SD fat loss around your like a tramp stamp would be amazing. Is that term offensive these days? I think it is.
Ben getting tattooed on the air, live on the air, would be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I would do it. And I know
See,
Woods
I can
would do
see
it,
that.
but it's
though.
not as
No,
fun.
Just circle a
it would
mole.
bother me. That would bother
I
me.
heard this up here really, really hurts.
My buddy got ribs, like all up and down the ribs, and he said
I
it was
want to
the
get
worst
actual
pain.
ribs tattooed on my ribs,
Like baby back
smoky
ribs.
baby back ribs on my
Saucy
ribs.
ribs.
Could I?
Sauce dripping
Can
down.
you tattoo like a 6-pack of abs?
Yeah,
Just-
you can do that. They can
just some
shade it
shading.
in.
Just looks like you've got abs.
They can shade it in. Yeah, listen. Summer break. It's anything goes. Probably do some drinking on the air next week for sure. Got to find the new drink of the summer. We did the Sunny D seltzer last year.
Oh yeah,
phenomenal.
What is this year?
It was phenomenal. It was so good. So we did that last year. We'll have some fun. Yeah, that next week's going to be real loosey on Ben and Woods, as if it's not normally. As if it's normally a really tight ship.
Yeah. Take this tight ship.
Take this tight ship
We're just
and
gonna loosen it up a
sail
little bit.
it out to the middle of nowhere. Well, listen, man, this team doesn't give us a hell of a lot to talk about on days like today. This is what it is.
Joey says we should get matching Ben and Woods tattoos.
No, that's the kiss of death. It's a kiss of death.
I would get our show logo tattooed.
You can't.
I'm
It's
gonna
over.
cherish this moment.
Yeah, I'll
this,
cherish
this,
it too,
This season of my life forever.
But what if it went really bad, as radio shows often do? And then you're like,
It won't outweigh the highs.
bastards.
Isn't that the fear anytime you get a tattoo of anything?
No.
That it's no longer going to be meaningful to you in 4 years.
No, but it begs the question: would you do Megan's name? Hannah's been after me for 10 years. On our third date, she's like, "You need to get my name tattooed. I'm like, you're out of your mind. I literally just got divorced. I'm not getting somebody's name tattooed on.
I would do something for her. I don't know
tough.
that I would just do her name. But like I've thought about something like in her handwriting. I think is a cool idea.
Like what?
I don't know, like I love you or something, or something from our wedding vows or something like that.
Why not her name?
Property of Megan.
Lawful property. Legal
Well,
property.
yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone's digging the little holes this morning, I feel like, on this program.
None bigger than you, my friend.
It's very true. Very, very, very true. Ooh, a calf sleeve would look good on you.
I think I'd rather have a piercing than a tattoo.
We can make that happen.
I could absolutely make
I can make that happen today,
All right,
probably.
stop.
Before.
Hold on. I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Where?
I don't know.
By the way,
Ear?
And you won't
Ear,
get a tattoo.
Oh my
maybe.
God, like Ed Bradley?
Yeah.
You wouldn't get
He's
a tattoo because
solid
of the pain.
news man.
Ed Bradley, Ben. Ben would be Ed Bradley. Would they make you take it out on They can't. They can't make you take it out on Channel 10.
Did you get your nipple pierced?
Ow, that sounds really painful. Woods.
My tiny little nipples. You guys have a lot of surface area. I don't. I have one tiny little thing.
I have one of those little bars
Yeah,
that
tiny
goes
little
through
bar
it.
through it.
Yeah.
And then you see it through my T-shirt every morning. Would you be repulsed if you looked over and you saw the little
No, I
bar?
wouldn't be repulsed.
I love them on women. I'm a big fan, but men, a little different. What about a little nose ring for you? I feel like that would hurt a lot.
I think they all hurt.
I think they all
And
hurt.
he won't do a tattoo because of the pain.
Do you know what a Prince Albert is?
Yeah.
All right. You ever thought about that?
No.
All right.
You think of the spot, and I'll make that
Yeah, we'll
happen.
make it happen. The ear. Please get an earring. Oh, this is midlife crisis. I can see it coming on him. I can see it. I can smell it. And it's going to be such good content.
We pierce his ear on a Monday. By Tuesday, he's got leather jacket,
Oh,
the Corvette.
We'll go start looking at vets when I get back next week. How about that? After the show, we'll go start looking at Corvettes. I like this.
I don't see me with a nose ring.
A ring, just a...
Yeah, the stud.
Do we...
Well,
do men do the studs?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
I almost have blacked out. Do men do the little diamond studs?
I definitely not belly button, as I don't really
Belly
have
button
one.
ring.
I don't really have a belly button, so I can't get it pierced.
Dead, man. I am dead. Tongue. One of those clickers? Yeah. You just sit there the whole show. Click, 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 click. Nightmare. Yeah, you have to do it. Okay, if you had an earring, would it be like a diamond stud,
Yeah.
or would it be a dangling Barry
No, I
Bonds
don't think it's
Campusano?
dangling. I don't think I'd like. That would bother me.
Like what if it was like a dangling golf ball?
I wouldn't want to feel it.
It was like a dangling golf ball.
No,
A golf ball stud.
it'd be like a tee.
A tee for what?
Golf. A golf
Oh,
tee.
golf tee. I
What if
thought
we
you meant
get
like
No,
a
no,
leather
not the
tee.
letter T. A golf tee.
The plugs, like really drag his ear out.
Drag it out.
Like-
the big
Oh.
the holes.
Yeah.
What are those called? Spacers?
Plugs?
Plugs?
Thought they were. I mean, you just tell me when. I'll make it happen.
A little diamond would look really
think it'd look
cool on
great.
him. Yeah. All right. Summer break. You never know what might happen. Let's go to break right now, though.
All right, let's take a time out. We got Eno Sarris on the way at the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned for that.
That was one of my favorite segments of all time. He's like, I'm not going to get a tattoo. I would get a piercing, though. Excuse me.
I am just
Dan-
saying,
Dan in the
if
chat-
you made me choose between the two,
Gauges is what they're
Oh,
called.
yeah.
I mean, you can always take out the piercing at some
can,
point
yeah.
and it goes away. Tattoo, you can't. It never goes away.
It's true.
I think that's
Dan
part
says
of
just
the
get Garvey and number 6 tattoo.
part
on
of
your
the
back.
equation for me. So, all right, other baseball games yesterday. We got an update. Got a very tightening wild card race in the National League. We'll get to that coming up.
It's exhausting.
After a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Speaking of earrings, just as the conversation turned in our last segment, I just got this in. Adam brought it in. The Luis Camposano pin that they're giving away this Sunday, theme game ticket, actually has a dangling earring from Campy's ear. It's actually part of the pin.
Yes.
I don't know if you can see it right there. It's that cross earring that's actually part of the pin. They also will be giving away the No Joe pin series as well. You do need a theme game ticket. That's Sunday's game against the Atlanta Braves on the 14th. Tickets are still available, even for the theme game as well. I'm always intrigued by those theme game giveaways because while the ones that are for everyone, like the hat yesterday, fantastic. It's kind of special when you're like one of the few who get like the limited edition stuff, but you do have to like take the extra step of signing up and getting one of the theme game tickets. And if you're a pin collector, and I know they have the Fernando one, they've had the series going on, you don't want to miss out this Sunday for the latest offering.
I wanted to buy a theme game ticket for the Merrill Christmas shirt.
I want it so
But when
bad.
I was going to go buy the tickets, and when I went to buy them, it said they're only available in medium and large, I think.
Oh, that's the only sizes left? Or that's the only sizes
they have?
You trying to
that's
squeeze
not gonna
me
work.
into a large Jackson Merrill shirt. The overcooked hot dog in the microwave. Just folding out of the top. You've lost weight. You ain't fitting in a large.
No chance.
And also, ballpark larges.
I'm finally down to extra large.
Ballpark
at least
larges.
Some T-shirts.
Ballpark larges are different. They're smaller than regular larges. So as much as I want that Jackson Merrill shirt, I can't wear it in a large. That's a bummer. I like that shirt a lot, though. I like it a lot. I was going to buy one on eBay or something, but not if they don't have an XL.
Now, I'm seeing on the chat that they say it's medium or extra large, not medium or large.
I'll take
that the
the
two
XL.
choices are medium or XL.
Okay, I'll take an XL.
That's better.
All right,
So-
better. But you wash it once, and then it's this guy. Like, what's up, dude?
Yeah, right. You got to hang dry it.
Here.
I think the worst T-shirts are the ones when you put your arms over your head that they pull up above your belly. That is the worst.
Worst, dude. I hate it. As I just suck down a donut in here. So you can tell I'm very concerned about it.
So I know I'm always the good news merchant.
Yes, you are the
trying
good news
to spin bad days into good. And I don't have much for you today. Here's what I've got. Padres actually picked up a half game on the St. Louis Cardinals in the wild card race yesterday.
That is not the worst good news you've ever delivered.
The Cardinals actually lost twice yesterday.
Yes, that's right.
To the Kansas City Royals. They were swept in a doubleheader. So the Padres didn't lose ground to everybody in the National League playoff chase. Unfortunately, a couple of the teams that are more concerning, that are right behind them, are gaining ground and gaining ground fast. The New York Mets beat the Washington Nationals 6-2, and don't look now, but the Mets are a game above 500 and just a half game behind the San Diego Padres for the third and final wild card spot in the National League. And that, of course, is a team that pretty much has unlimited resources.
It's a good point, man. Very, very good point. One of the teams we talked about yesterday that we buried. They were done. They were trading everybody.
Mets fans buried their own team after like 3 weeks of the season.
Italian Paul was like despondent. When he filled in for Paul, he was like, terrible. You guys are going to kill us this weekend. We got smoked. And they went on a run, and they've stayed on a run, and they, like you said, unlimited resources to do whatever they want. And, yeah, super fun.
They've kind of rallied around the Lindor All-Star snub, not getting in, and taking some momentum here into the All-Star break. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, of course, who just took 2 of 3 from the Padres. They beat the Braves yesterday 7-6, and the defending National League champions are just a game and a half back in that wild card race. So there are plenty of contenders still as we head toward the break and the trade deadline. And I would say if you had 2 teams behind you that I was most worried about, those are the 2, because of the Mets' resources and the Diamondbacks having already had the success from last season. Like the knowledge that they can and have done it makes them a little bit more dangerous than, say, the Pirates or the Reds or the Nationals or some of the other teams that are still in contention.
Yeah,
3 or 4 games back.
What about the Giants?
Giants, Yeah, I mean, I'm a little worried about them. If, Blake Snell gets healthy, then
he's second half Blake Snell,
they,
Kyle Harrison, Logan
yeah,
Webb.
they'd probably be the
nasty.
next on my list. They did lose to the Blue Jays 10-6. Logan Webb gave up 7 runs yesterday, so they've just never been able to truly get on a roll this season. But they're not out of it. They're only like three back as well. So plenty of contenders that are trying to chase down your San Diego Padres. Struggles continue for the LA Dodgers. 3rd straight loss yesterday, 4-3 to the Phillies. Kyle Schwarber hit a leadoff home run. But the Dodgers pitching woes continue. They sent Bobby Miller down to the minors. He was supposed to be pretty much, this was the year where he joins the rotation for good, and it has not worked out very well.
Can you fill me in on what's going on with Walker Buehler? Did you see that?
I have not seen any Walker Buehler news as of late.
He left the Dodgers to go work somewhere else. He's trying to address his issues away from the Dodgers. He was activated from the 15
That's never a good sign.
Day IL on May 6th. Let's see. Early returns, mixed bag. Yeah, we saw him. It wasn't great. Replaced back on the IL. He's away from the team, working out his issues. While players don't usually train and practice away from the club's coaches during the season, the Dodgers have backed up his decision. The idea of working at a facility outside the Dodgers organization was Buehler's idea, and we're supporting it, Dave Roberts says. Still no timetable for when he will return. I feel like that's a pretty big story, don't you?
I do. Now, do the Dodgers have any choice other than to support their guy? And if he feels like it's going to make him better, then okay, do what you need to do.
Is he one of those guys that's earned that ability
possibly,
to do?
But even if he has, it's still a big red flag.
It is a huge
If you
red
don't
flag.
think your own coaches and the Dodgers, who have massive coaching resources and organizational resources, and you don't think anyone in that organization can help you, you need to go to your own pitching coach at your own facility to try to get right. That's a huge red flag. That's like when I need to go to my own doctor to get a second opinion after the team doctor says one thing and you don't. That's just a sign that you don't trust your own organization.
Yeah, it was wild to me. And of course, it was kind of, not glossed over yesterday in the news. I did see it and I went, I got to remember to talk about that tomorrow because it did seem a little odd for me that he's like, no, I'm gonna work through my stuff. Trust me, this is better this is better for everyone if I do. And so, yeah, pretty interesting story. I feel like it would be a big deal if it happened to one of our guys. I do. I really do.
Speaking of interesting baseball stories, Eno Sarris is going to join us. We got our Smart Baseball Weekly segment coming up with Eno. Get some more thoughts on what's going on around the league. That is coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits. Still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. We've got Eno Sarris standing by from The Athletic, our Smart Baseball Weekly segment. It's coming up right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the San Diego Zoo Safari Park. For the most part, folks have been doing a pretty good job of staying out of trouble on our roads. No incidents, no accidents, no surprises, meaning, of course, you're still going to see the usual slowing in the usual spots. Still pretty sluggish for you out of Santee at West 52. Change the way you see the world at the San Diego Zoo Safari Park, whether you're eye-to-eye with Sumatran tigers or soaring high above giraffes and rhinos. Every adventure helps support wildlife worldwide. Visit today and see conservation from a new perspective. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So I'm curious about something as we welcome Eno in. We had Kyle Higashioka in studio earlier this week. 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
And he had a home run that night.
He did.
Now, Eno talks to a lot of players. We always worry that when we talk to someone that if they have a bad night, they're going to associate it with us and they're going to blame us.
Right.
Eno, do you ever worry about that? Because you just talked to Logan Webb, and he went out and had a really bad game yesterday for the San Francisco Giants.
Guy probably should have been focused on pitching and not showing your kid pitching grips, Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, I do think about it sometimes. One thing that I'm blessed with is I don't go into the clubhouse after the game. And the reason I say that I'm blessed not to do that is that if they've had a bad game, they don't look across the mic at me.
Yes. Very good point.
Good call.
Very good point.
I think for the most time, I think that they talk to so many people that they forget. But I do wonder, if I do a big piece that's about why they've gotten better or whatever,
yes,
and then they go through a bad stretch. The reason though that is always going to happen is that you're going to write about the players that are playing the best.
Yeah.
And there's just natural, baseball is just naturally, there's regression all the time.
It's only one way to
go.
go.
The Astros were terrible, and then they were great. They were the best in baseball in June. It's just always like that. So if you write about somebody right when they're doing their best, because that's when they're most interesting, of course they're gonna have some hard times after that.
It does always feel like a jinx, too, because I was in here a couple of days ago and we had Tim Flannery in. He told a couple hours of stories that were just brilliant about some of those old Giants teams that you know very well. And I asked him, do you believe? And he goes, oh yeah, I believe in this team. And I'm like, bro, me too. They deserve a shot, man. They deserve to go out and get a starter and a bullpen, maybe another bat, whatever they need. This team has really earned it. And then, a couple of clunkers in a row. And you're driving into work this morning going, I wonder what we could get for Dylan Cease. You know what I mean? It's just the stupid nature of a baseball season.
Yeah, but they are a decent team, and I like that they make so much contact. And I think what it hides though on offense is that they do way better when they hit power. Hit their power as well. I think last night they had 6 singles or something.
Yeah, 7 hits, 6 singles. I think that's right.
Yeah, and it's just hard to live like that. I know. I love Mud and I love the announcers, but I hear this from other people that a hit is a hit and, just get on base and you can string together hits. It's just really hard to string together hits in today's environment. You just think about the batting average now is the worst it's been since 1968, the year of the pitcher. So you get 6 singles, you get 0 runs for it. It's it is pretty hard actually to string together a bunch of singles. And so, that's why I think, Manny getting right and he's looked better and Tatis coming back. That's enough where you're like, okay, this offense is going to get going.
Eno Sarris is with us. Yesterday, Eno, you and a couple of your colleagues from The Athletic posted a story about the 10th anniversary of StatCast, the birth of what has become, at least for me, an integral part of watching baseball. I mean, I can't even imagine now watching a Padres game without going and checking the exit velocity of that last hit and, who's throwing hard, the speeds and velocities. How has the game changed based on this information that is now not just available to the teams that have advanced metrics, but now everybody can go and see these numbers, and they're posted right instantly online during every single game. You can follow along just like I was doing last night with the Padres-Mariners game.
Yeah, for that piece, I talked to Mike Petriello, who did like an alternate StatCast edition of games early on, where they broadcast with Eduardo Perez, and they had David Cohn on sometimes, and Jason Benetti, and they would do these games where it was like more statty focused. And he said, that's coming back, and we're going to do something this year. And I'm nervous because now every broadcast has this stuff in it. And the regular Sunday Night Baseball has Eduardo Perez and David Cohn. And they took our producer that was producing the StatCast, and they just made him the producer of the Sunday Night Baseball. So it's like, that's how ubiquitous it's become, is that like now the guy who used to be the nerd on, doing the Nerdcast has to figure out how to become even nerdier. And I think that actually is a good way to kind of think about how it's changed the game. The nerdiness level has like gone through the roof. And, even if someone says to me, like, I don't care about this sort of stuff, I talked to Tyler Glass now, and he was like, yes, I look at it. I look at the movement. I look at everything. I look at other people's stuff. I care about it. It's helped me in my career. And then James Paxton, sitting right next to him, said, I can look at a pitch and know if it's good. But even James Paxton knows about like naming conventions for movement. He knows about inverted vertical break. He's decided he doesn't care about it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's come to the point where everybody knows this stuff. It's everywhere. And I think the more successful players embrace it and use it to their benefit. JD Martinez just joined the Mets, and when he arrived, he changed the way the hitting reports were coming through from the hitting coach after a couple of weeks. And he literally brought weighted bats to the team and distributed them to other players and showed them how to use them. And so, that's the kind of, there are these ambassadors that know even more than the average player and are sort of proselytizing the data,
It's funny, thinking about J.D. Martinez, who was somebody we talked about in the offseason. Certainly, the Padres were probably interested, along with a bunch of other teams, coming in. And, I mean, if you're the hitting coach of the New York Mets, isn't that Eric Chavez?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh, all right. Cool, you bring it, like, you know what I mean? But then I just saw you retweeted the story we just talked about before we got you on about Walker Buehler, who's like, all right, see you guys later. I'm off to Florida to go work at Cressy Sports Performance instead of working with Mark Pryor and the Los Angeles Dodgers, who I'm assuming have every single gizmo, gadget, metric that one could ever want.
Well, I think one part is that it's a little difficult, I think, sometimes to really revamp anything or work on stuff in a competitive environment. So it would have been hard for him to do it between starts with Mark Pryor on the Dodgers. I guess you could IL him, but then you technically are supposed to send him to somewhere. It's rare to IL someone and he stays with the Dodgers.
Right.
So maybe his choice was, do I go down to Oklahoma City, and work with people there, or do I go work with Eric Cressy? And I think the modern player is also empowered by the fact that there's all these independent labs, pitching labs now, that they have their own contractual arrangements with, and they can maybe feel some ownership over their own coaching, by doing this. So they can go to Driveline, they can go to Tread, they can go to Cressy, and they feel like they are getting what they want. And when I've talked to people that are coaches or people in front offices about this, they struggle with it. They're annoyed because they would rather the player got the coaching that they want them to get. Right? they think they know the right coaching. And there's different approaches to how to deal with that. Some front offices do something that's kind of cool. I talked to one front office. They said, Oh, we don't love Teacher Man. Teacher Man's the guy who's Aaron Judge's batting coach.
I've heard a lot about that guy, man.
Oh my God, he's so arrogant.
He's so arrogant.
He's so arrogant. I think he really has like one good idea, but I don't think he has every good idea, And it worked for Judge. Doesn't mean that it's going to work for everybody else. Judge is pretty unique in terms of, size,
quickness,
athleticism, strength. Yeah. So, so somebody was working with them and they didn't really love everything. But what they did was they had their hitting coach take Teacher Man's course so that he knew what Teacher Man was about and what he talked about. So he could speak Teacher Man's language to this player. They invited Teacher Man to spring to talk to the player and to other players and just made it seem like, hey, we're cool with him. If that's what you believe and that's what you're into, like we're gonna support you in that. But when the kid went through a stretch where he was 0 for 20 or something, he was a little more receptive to their own coach.
Makes sense, yeah.
And so they that's the struggle right now is like, how do I make it cool for you to go to Eric Cressy, but also I want you to listen to Mark Pryor. That's kind of the line people are walking right now.
Smart Baseball with Eno Sarris every Thursday here with Ben and Woods. And I think when we talk about the numbers, Eno, and you've kind of mentioned this before, and so for some people it's too much. They get overwhelmed by all the stats and they say, I just want to go by feel. But your brain fools you. If you throw a pitch and someone swings and misses, your brain's going to tell you, I just threw a good pitch. But you don't know that that's true.
That's absolutely
the
not
batter
true.
may have just taken a bad swing at it for no reason whatsoever. And the numbers will actually kind of tell you which pitches are the better ones if you can take your brain out of the equation sometimes. Is that really what the statistical revolution here in baseball is about?
I think so. I mean, I think the opposite is the one that's really happens even more, which is that a pitcher throws a pitch that's pretty good, but one of the first times he throws it, someone yanks it for a homer, and then they never throw that pitch again. And you're like, dude, that is a pretty good pitch. And that's why it can be good to have something like Stuff Plus and be like, look, this curve ranks among the best. Here are the comps. Oh, this curve looks like this guy's curve and this guy. Those guys' curves are good, right? Like throw it again, please. So there's some of that, there's also some of like when a player is really struggling and you can come to them and say, hey, you know what? You're barreling the ball. Your barrel rate is on par with this guy's. Your exit velocities are fine. Like you just need to chill out and like the hits will come. So the numbers can do a lot of different things. They don't have to be overwhelming. They don't have to be negative. And one thing that I do think is, as a fan, I don't begrudge anybody their opinion about how they want to consume the sport. I understand that. And I think that the best broadcast teams, the best, the best shows, try to really meld, what is happening on the field, what has happened historically, the stories. People love stories from back in the day. And then just sort of gently fold in some of the stats so that you don't necessarily have to report the exit velocity on every homer. But if somebody tonight hit the hardest hit homer of the year or ever for the Padres or something, that's when you sort of say it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to do it for every single one. You don't have to really shoehorn it in. These numbers are supposed to tell a story,
It's interesting too. I was watching, I think it was must have been on Apple TV, maybe. I can't remember, but Franchi was on there, and he kept calling people that like stats in baseball pencil necks the whole night. Oh, those are those pencil neck stats. Pencil neck stats. Pencil necks. I'm like, all right, this is a huge broadcast featuring two great teams. Pencil neck, pencil neck, pencil neck. And I'm like,
oh my God.
And he's not an old guy. I mean, he's not, this isn't Goose Gossage here. And I'm listening to this going, all right, now I there needs to be more of a happy medium. There really does.
Yeah.
And, I thought that was, I don't know if you had heard that.
Yeah,
yet.
I think Mud does I think they do a great
They
job.
do.
Mud and Don do a great job. And they're not the nerdiest that I've ever had. One of my favorite broadcasters is John Miller. John Miller he's not like a big stat guy, but I also love Boo Shiambi.
Yes.
The Cubs, and he folds more stats in. Jason Benetti with the White Sox. So there are different ways to be great, just like there are different ways to be great as a baseball player. And that's why I like these stats, is because you can highlight so many different cool things about a player. Oh,
Yeah.
this guy's like one of the 5 fastest players in the big leagues. This guy, and you can do it a little bit more precision, I think, than without it. And I don't know. You can also just express regret at like the way that baseball has become very sort of walking of last. More
outcomes.
focused on power and we the 3-2 outcomes. Like that has come from analysis. But my retort is, that's not the analyst's fault. They're just trying to help their team win the game.
Right.
It's not the pencil neck's fault. They're working for teams and trying to help players get better. That's my passion, is player development. Trying to help players get better. They're trying to help their team win. If you don't like where this is going, then you should be pro the kind of rule changes that baseball is making.
100%.
That's the reason they're making those rule changes, is to incentivize teams to want the single again.
Eno, enjoy your All-Star break. We'll chat with you again as we get the second half started, and we always appreciate everything you've done. First half of the season was great. Thank you so much.
We'll talk to you not next week. We'll give you the week off.
Yes.
Yeah, week off next week.
The first week of the second half, we'll have you back in 2 weeks.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Unless we get in a pinch.
Then then we'll just call you.
Keep your phone on. But just
you still might get a text. We'll see.
Eno Sarris, Smart Baseball, brought to you by 7 Mile Casino. And he said something, and he always has some nugget that I grab onto. And it's so simple. But as we've been talking about the Padres and the roller coaster of the season, and maybe this isn't as unexpected as it feels, because when we start talking about how well they're playing and get excited, of course they're about to turn, because there's only one way you can go. When you've won 12 of 15, that's not going to last forever. Unless you're the greatest team in baseball history, you're about to hit a rut. And when they've lost 4 or 5 in a row and everything seems bleakest, that's not going to last either. And of course they're going to start winning and things are going to turn around again, because that's just the nature of life. That, things change and our attention gets focused when teams are either playing well or struggling, but it's because it's probably about to change and go the other direction. Let's hope the Padres are about to change and go the other direction again.
That's exactly what's been happening.
Yep, all season long. And we'll see if that continues. Paulie's got the Reindl Report coming up next. Final hour before the roundtable on the Fan.
So there's a debate going on in the chat right now. Our buddy Mike, who says that the numbers are turning fans off to the game, the younger fans. And then Tony says, are Kim's advanced metrics generating any value? And I think the answer to that is yes. I think absolutely, 100% they are. I mean, we were talking about Ha-Seong Kim's value earlier in the day, and he's ninth in F4 for shortstops, and ninth best shortstop in the league according to F4. So I think, that can help build value potentially in somebody that maybe the casual fan. Now, listen, when you're talking about trading people, there are no casual GMs. The Kevin Towers of the world are gone. It doesn't exist. You won't get the job. If you're like...
No seat of their pants.
No, dude. None. Nobody goes there and is like, how do I tell a good baseball player? I listen. I can hear a good baseball. I can hear it.
I can smell it.
I smell it in him. I look in his eyes.
And I know. Means no confidence.
That's right, bro. That doesn't exist anymore. Okay? So every single GM knows how to create value out of whatever player they have. Conversely, every other GM that they're dealing with knows how to take some of that value away. It's quite an art form.
Now, there is value beyond the numbers. And if you don't acknowledge that, then you're missing some of the greatness of the game. There are players who are more than just the sum of their numbers. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Yeah.
They're, chemistry, character, some makeup, grit, whatever you want to call it. Still a good thing to have in a baseball player, But you can't ignore the numbers either, just because you like a guy's grit or makeup.
Correct.
They have to also produce. There is a balance there for sure, and there is still a place in the game for some of those old school evaluations.
There's no question.
But there's no way you can just ignore the numbers and go with your gut.
The problem is I don't see a lot of the numbers people. There needs to be a mutual respect between both. That's what I've always said. There's got to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you're going to get a little bit of luck.
Your brain lies to you.
Oh, 100%.
And it will reinforce what you already believe. If you think Ha-Seong Kim is a good ball player, then you'll remember his line drives.
Yep.
You'll remember the diving plays that he makes, and you'll kind of ignore some of the errors and some of the slumps. If you think Ha-Seong Kim isn't a good shortstop, then you'll ignore some of the good plays that he makes, and you'll remember all the errors. Your brain wants to reinforce what you already believe.
Correct.
That's what the numbers can do. They can tell you, my brain's been tricking me a little bit. I didn't think Ha-Seong Kim was quite that good.
How many times have we gone and pulled up somebody's page and went, wow, okay, all right, I was completely wrong. I guess he's not striking out all the time.
Take Luis Campusano early in the season. A lot of praise for Campy hitting, 300, getting tons of hits. But if you went to his StatCast page, you would have seen that it was a bit of a mirage, that the balls weren't being hit hard, that they weren't barreled up, and that likely if he continues on this path, things will regress and he'll go into a slump when the balls don't fall in. Well, guess what happened? Exactly that. Sometimes it is a telling indicator of the future, that the numbers that you're seeing that are actually producing, which are important, obviously you have to actually produce on the field, but you can see, but this isn't necessarily something that's sustainable.
Correct. Sustainable in 162 game season is of the utmost importance. Is what I'm doing sustainable? If it is, great. I'm going to have my ups, I'm going to have my downs. If I'm just hitting ass-out flares into right field and getting knocks on them, it's not going to last for 162. It may not last for 6.
And part of what Jurickson Profar has said this year is that he is finally just trusting his game. Not worrying so much. When there's a bad game or a slump, doesn't need to tinker with anything.
Yeah. Just trust
Just trust it.
Yeah,
Numbers
trust it.
say I'm a decent player. Guess what? I'm just going to trust it and move forward. And that can be hard to do because we all, when things aren't going well, think we need to do something and make changes. And if we're not, we feel like we're not doing our job. We're lazy. We're not doing our job. But sometimes the right thing to do is nothing.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
Just like the Reindl Report. Just leave it alone. Let him do his thing.
Do your thing, Paulie.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Reindl Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Reindl Report, with Paul Reindl.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Reindl Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing? Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. Morning, gentlemen.
Morning, buddy.
How we doing?
Good.
Good. Let's see. Got a couple of stories here for you. We will start off in the world of baseball media. Saw a story yesterday. How do you guys feel about Pete Rose? Where are you guys at on Pete Rose in 2024?
Love the player. The person's not my favorite. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, like, I read some stuff about it yesterday because I know where you're going here, and I read an article yesterday. I went, yeah, I'd forgotten most of this. Underage 15-year-old girl in Cincinnati, that he had a long relationship. She's 15 years old. He was playing for the Reds. It's not good. It's not good.
I'm not asking him to babysit my kids anytime soon.
No, but I love the player, but
He's a polarizing
He's
guy,
a polarizing cat.
I mean, one of the best hitters of all time, not in the Hall of Fame.
And I remember watching him as a kid and being like, God dang, that guy gives it, Charlie Hustle, you get that nickname. And then I remember vividly the scandals that came out. I just remember sitting like, SportsCenter was still fairly new back then. I just remember being riveted and being like, oh my God, Marge Schott, Pete Rose, the betting, it was incredible.
Well, yesterday, HBO announced a 4-part documentary.
Watching every second.
You will, okay.
Every effing second
That's
of it.
what I was getting at. It's a 4-part documentary on the life and career of Pete Rose. It's called Charlie Hustle and the Matter of Pete Rose.
Every second of it.
It will air on Wednesday the 24th and Thursday, July 25th, 2 episodes each day. So you'll have it, done in 48 hours. And, I was reading it along here a little bit. Fascinating portrait of a complex individual full of contradictions, one seeking redemption, but not quite ready for full atonement.
He will not, won't. They told him back then, all right, just apologize. He's like, nah,
we can make this work. Just apologize.
Apologize. No contrition. Remind you of anybody else?
Everyone wants redemption, but redemption requires some introspection and contrition, which he's never really totally been able to do. And what he has, you've had to absolutely force out of him, like
squeeze
over
it, like in the
decades.
gulag.
Like,
Yes.
just squeeze like a drop of contrition out of Pete Rose has been the hardest thing in the world.
Like my 6-year-old.
Interviewed in the film, in the 4-part documentary, Pete Rose is in it, of course. He's not an executive producer, so I don't know how much say he had in like the final cut or anything like that, but he is in it. His son, Pete Rose Jr. is in it, Mike Schmidt, Ken Griffey Sr., Eduardo Perez, Al Michaels, Marty Brenneman, John Miller. So a lot of big names. And they've got all the descriptions out for all 4 of the episodes. Here's
it's a prime example of artist.
Yeah.
That's it. Prime example.
Here's a little bit of the trailer. See if it sells you if you're on the fence about it or not.
This was baseball's Watergate.
One of the game's greatest players has stained the game. Mr. Rose has accepted baseball's ultimate sanction, lifetime ineligibility.
Till this day, I don't think they had evidence of what lasted in court about me betting on baseball. We're on a crusade to get me reinstated.
He has to participate and show that he wants it.
I want baseball and Pete Rose to be friends, so I can say I'm not an outsider looking in.
What he did for me was invaluable. Pete's his own worst enemy.
Should Pete Rose be in the Hall of Fame? Integrity still matters.
Shakespeare would have had a field day with this story. All I did is bet on baseball. I didn't rob banks. And I was wrong by not coming clean originally, but I played the game right.
No question.
So we're done because I got to go make a bet. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the betting is the betting, but the other story is really gnarly. And he did have the greatest quote I've ever heard. I'd walk through hell in a gasoline suit to play baseball. I watched Ken Burns baseball when that came out, and of all the quotes that stuck with me forever is I would walk through hell in a gasoline suit to play baseball. And I went, you got me.
What stuck with me about that trailer was when he said, to this day, I don't think they had evidence that would have held up in a courtroom. Doesn't matter. Even you later in the trailer admitted, well, I did bet on baseball. I should have come clean. I did do it.
All I did.
Who cares what specific evidence they had against you? You knew you did it. They knew you did it. And you tried to make everyone think that you didn't do it.
So tough.
Well, I'm probably going to watch.
I'm watching every second of it. Every second.
That's in a couple of weeks. Also saw this clip making the rounds yesterday. Some sports radio fun. This didn't remind me of anyone in particular that I know for sure. But Michael Kay from WFAN. No, he's ESPN 1000, I think, out there. Where is Michael?
No,
is he WFAN?
Isn't he on the WFAN?
He's on the Yes Network.
Yes Network.
And
for TV.
98.7 ESPN.
ESPN, okay.
So the other
The
New
other
York
one.
sports radio out there. And they got a guy named Mike from New Jersey call in. And I'll just let this clip play for itself. Michael Kay just goes off on this sports radio caller.
And you will never, Big Michael Kay will never criticize the Yankees. Probably hang up on me, but never.
You want me? You know what, jerk off? You want me to hang up on you, don't you? I am not going to hang up on you. I'm going to let you spill your nonsense. All I do is sit here and criticize the Yankees every day. Are you hard of hearing? Are you hard of hearing, Mike?
What'd you say about Boone? What'd you say about Boone?
I tell you, he is managing and no.
Boone doesn't do anything.
Are you a Met fan or a Yankee fan?
He doesn't.
You're a Met fan or a Yankee fan? What are you?
Yankee fan.
You're a Yankee fan. I have said that Boone acts in concert with the front office. I'm giving you reasons what's going on. I have said over and over they have a chance of falling out of the postseason. What do you want me to do? I don't understand what you want me to do, Mike. Go find it somewhere else.
Boone is a puppet.
Go find it somewhere else, Mike. Tell me who's saying stuff like this.
See, you'll hang up, Michael. You'll hang up, Michael.
Again, you want me to hang up on you, you clown. You want me to hang up on you. I am going to let you bury yourself. I'm not going to hang up on you. You deserve to be exposed as a moron. Go. Continue to go. You've got the radio. Go, Mike. Go.
Man.
It's uncanny. It's like adding a New York accent to a certain host that we know very well. And I, of course, mean Annie Heilbrunn.
Annie Heilbrunn. Just like her. Just like Annie.
I said nobody
I mean, the only thing he didn't say was, dude. I don't say it twice.
I
dude.
said it twice, dude. Aaron Boone's got to go. I said it twice, dude. How bad would it suck to live in New York if you were a fan of one of those teams and you still had to cover the other team? Because they have that all over. And like that one guy, Sal's like a Yankee or a Met fan, and then Michael Kay obviously works for the Yankees, but like, no, I think the Mets should trade. So it's like, of course you do. You're a Yankee fan, you bum. And you're
it would be tough to maintain your credibility if you were a fan of one or the other.
Horrible. Horrible.
But you don't want to just be Mr. Neutral.
You can't be.
I'm not a fan of either the Yankees or the Mets. I'm simply an impartial observer of the whole thing.
You're a bum. I don't say it twice, dude. I say it once. Oh, my God. I did not. You're hearing what I said. You're hearing what I said.
Put the other one on.
There is no other one. That's it.
The other one. Listen, man. What we heard was you're on the horn.
Bro, I don't give a what you heard. I'm sending you what was said. Whatever you think you heard, I don't care.
Damn, dude.
Like, you're out of your mind. I give you the evidence. I'm giving you the evidence. That's what was said on the radio. That's what was said. Like, are you kidding? I gave you what I said. I didn't say it again. Hey.
Your brain plays tricks on you.
Yeah.
Woods brings you the StatCast numbers of what was actually said.
Yeah. I just sent you.
Can't trust your own brain sometimes.
Yeah, there was, 90 Money says, I've never heard such an aggressive dude in my life before. Adam, this sounds like every phone call I have with Stephen Woods. Yeah, oh my God. Adam and I have had some bangers on the phone. Yeah, a little passionate. It's all right. Don't say it twice, dude.
So good.
Identical Michael Kay. Identical. That's great. I saw that yesterday. I was like, I hope Paulie brings that one in.
Mike
So
says
funny.
Michael K is a bootlicker. I think when you work for a team, there's always a fine line you have to walk. I appreciate and I respect a guy like Jesse Agler, who will give us honest opinions.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, he can't simply just come on and just trash everything about the team.
Sure.
He's a team employee. He's on the Padres payroll, but he also is not going to lie to you about the team. I believe Jesse will not. He will not tell lies about the San Diego Padres. Now he may not accentuate some of the negatives sometimes, which I totally understand, but he's not going to just bald-faced lie and say the Padres are red when you know that they're blue.
Ben, the funny part about this job, and when you hear stuff like that, and I've got that before. So you're telling me then, whoever you are, Mike, and you work at Qualcomm. You're an engineer. You walk into your CEO's office and you're like, "You're a bum. You're ruining this country. You suck. You're a loser." I just tell it like it is, bro. I'm no bootlicker. No, like everybody has a boss. Everybody on the planet. They act like media guys don't. Like we don't have a boss or sometimes. And it's like, bro, I can't, I can't go nuclear all the time. I went nuclear on that guy because that guy was calling me a liar. But we've always said on this show, you're going to get how we're genuinely feeling. Genuinely. Some days the Padres losses devastate me. Some days, like today, when I'm going on vacation, I'm like, it's not my problem. I'll watch tomorrow. I'm into it.
It's never your problem.
It's not my problem. But holy smoke.
We can't fix them.
Yeah, I can't fix them.
Well, we're up against the clock, so I had a
All
pretty
right,
inappropriate. We don't need to get to it.
You just want to skip it?
What?
You
The
don't wanna
best story
tease
of the
it?
day.
All right.
Tease it, and
Is
we'll
this
come back.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
We gotta be
very careful.
Just
very
think about it
careful.
over the break, how you want to handle this, if you're really going in that
If
direction.
you guys want to Google the couple in Georgia and a margarita,
Ben does not want to do this.
You can
Think
do your
about
homework.
this. Think twice. Either way, we're going to give away some John Fogerty tickets when we come back as well. And don't forget, the roundtable is coming up at the top of the hour. All ahead, and Woods' vacation is about 43 minutes away. Right here on San Diego's #1 sports station. Back after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Fair enough. All right, well, there we
it
go.
is.
There
you want
it
to make sure
is.
you get that in.
Yeah, that's the legal disclaimer. Before
Right, be very careful. This is one of those little ears, maybe. Turn it down for little ears.
Yeah.
Does that include me?
Mature. This
I feel
is
like I'm kind of a little ear here.
I want you to hear every word.
I want you to hear every second. Mature. This is a mature.
There was a viral clip going around on the social medias yesterday. Now, this actually happened a couple of months ago, but police just found out about it after the video went viral, and I believe the woman involved may have ratted on herself, like turned herself in. But there was a couple in Georgia, Waycross, Georgia.
Now, they're a couple.
Yes, they know each other. Joe and Mary. Joe Boyette and Mary Sweat. That's her name.
Boyette and Sweat. In the mornings here in Georgia. It's Boyette and Sweat. Thanks for tuning in. Braves heading to San Diego to take on the Padres.
They are facing charges for an act that they committed at Rodeo Mexican Restaurant in Waycross, Georgia.
Rodeo Mexican Restaurant.
I bet it's so good, too.
Tex-Mex, we're thinking here?
It's Georgia, so no, even worse.
Southern Mex.
Just rodeo. Okay, go ahead.
Adam's lurking outside the studio. Like, is he just going to run
That
in
means
and
he's
pull the
not
plug
listening.
at any
Hold on.
point
That means
here?
he's not listening.
Do you need us? Did you need us? Okay.
Are we good?
I think we're fine.
Okay.
Right. I guess he's not listening.
So, the video, which you can pretty much see
all of it
pretty clearly
Yeah.
what's happening.
You gonna put it in the chat or
no?
no?
God, no. Shows Mary.
Don't understand this.
Kind of hiking up her dress.
Yep, the dress goes up, and then
everything is exposed, and she's in a booth on her knees,
right,
with her rear end out.
Right.
And Joe Boyette took a picture of Margarita. Then, just to clear it up, I don't think this was a frozen.
It wasn't
margarita.
frozen. It was
Just
the mixed.
The mixed margarita
On the rocks.
On the rocks.
Yeah. And he's got the picture and on a funnel. And
a funnel.
He tried to use the funnel to drink the margarita after he had poured it down.
Nope. That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Even I know where you're heading here.
Yeah.
Brandon in the chat says, stop beating around the bush. And I said, hey, man, we're on radio still. This isn't just on YouTube.
So I've heard the expression that's used when you drink an alcoholic drink, but not through the normal orifice,
right,
as it were.
The blank chug.
Right.
This
And
is not that. This I think was more like a luge.
And I've never totally understood the concept
Like
necessarily.
Yeah.
Well, what is the funnel for?
Well, the funnel didn't work, so he threw the funnel away.
And then just did the luge, the back of the.
So they were arrested for what? Indecent exposure?
All kinds of stuff,
Making
really.
a real big mess.
Get arrested for excessive sticky mess in a booth. A luge. I need you to isolate yourself saying luge.
Wasting a perfectly good picture of margaritas? I mean,
how drunk do you have to be like, get that skirt up. I'm going to do that luge that margarita luge we talked about. Down at the bottom. Now, that is one thing that we will not be doing on summer break next week. Baby, get that skirt up.
And now, is it a urban legend or is it medical fact that the alcohol absorbs faster into your system?
I don't know.
Through alternate means of ingestion.
So I heard the old rumor about Stevie Nicks is that she did so much blow that she couldn't do it through her nose anymore, so she went another direction, and it worked apparently. That is a desire, like
they look actually like a friendly couple. We have the mugshot up. In
they do. They do.
Our chat. They look fairly normal. Not what I was expecting.
She's gritted.
Joe looks like he's done this before.
You see, there's a glint of pride in his eye. Of
It ain't my first rodeo Mexican restaurant.
You damn right. Look at his face. Yeah, damn right I did. I'll do it again. I'm going to do it again tomorrow. Look at him.
There is some pride there. There's a pride in the eyes.
TMZ says, it happened 3 months ago, but police just found out about it after Mary ratted on herself. She was upset after someone leaked the video online and wanted cops to arrest the person, and then instead her and Joe were arrested for public indecency. The restaurant put out a statement saying this was unacceptable and not reflective of the family-friendly dining experience that they strive for at Rodeo Mexican Restaurant.
I take my family out for a nice dinner. We open the door. She's on all fours. She's like, what the hell? Oh, all right, let's go. Turn around. Dad's going to come back later. Holy crap, dude. The face. I cannot get over his face. Hell yeah.
Now,
hell yeah.
It says here that some of the employees of the restaurant may also face action or charges for inappropriate action because, according to reports, one of the restaurant employees is the one that gave Joe the funnel.
Hey, you got a funnel back there?
Hey!
I'm sorry. Again, I apologize for being the unaware one. Which way are you doing the funnel? Like, is it upside down?
I still don't know what the funnel is for. I'm going to be honest with you. A funnel has a
small side
and a big side.
opening. I don't know which.
Here, Ben, you can see.
I don't know how it's going to help.
I'm not going
by
to show
adding
this.
a funnel
Are you
to it.
pouring something into the funnel?
Yeah, I can see if you're trying to. But
then it's like you know what I mean? All right,
I don't
we'll
know.
watch it at the break, and then we'll get a better understanding of it. Thank you, Paulie. That's really great, Reindl.
Now, unfortunately for this restaurant, anytime you Google now Rodeo Mexican Restaurant, like all I wanted to know was what was on the menu, like the panchitos or corn tortilla chips smothered with queso, black beans, sour cream, guacamole, pico de gallo, and pickled jalapenos. Well, those are nachos. Why are they called panchitos? It's just nachos.
Of course, you go look at the menu.
The mini chongas.
Oh, God, I love a chimichanga. Let's go to break.
All right. We will come back. We got our final segment of Ben and Woods. First, we got the John Fogerty tickets to give away. He is not affiliated at all with the Reindl Report. If you'd like to win 2 tickets to the Rady Show, September 4th, to see John Fogerty in concert, be our 5th caller at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com, but you can win them right now at 833-288-0973. Back to wrap things up before the roundtable next year on 97.3 The Fan. Couple updates on stories we've talked about in the past. Yesterday mentioned Torrey Pines High alum Taylor Fritz was in the quarterfinals at Wimbledon.
So close.
Looking to get to the semis, and it was a really good match against Lorenzo Musetti.
Oh.
Taylor Fritz won the first set, lost the second one in a tiebreaker. We were on the air. That was tough. 7-6, 7-5 in the tiebreaker. That was probably the match right there because Musetti won the third set. Fritz came back, though, to win the fourth set. But then in the end, Musetti took the last set 6-1 and advanced to the semifinals. That second set was probably the decider there. That tiebreaker, just a point or two, making the difference as Taylor Fritz is eliminated in the Wimbledon quarterfinals.
How many games did he play total?
In a tennis match?
Did they play yesterday? Because they went.
So probably around 50.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Good God.
Remember they had that one match a few years ago, Isner and Mahut, and it was like, what was it, like 65-63 in the fifth set?
Oh, my God.
They went like 100.
Oh, my God.
28 games in the one set because there was no tiebreakers back then, and you had to go.
Longest tennis match in history. It was a first-round men's single. This was 2010.
Yeah, Isner Mahut.
And find out exactly how. 11 hours and 5 minutes.
Yeah, but how many
Good God!
How many games did it go in the fifth set? It was
11 and 11.
70 to 68.
70 to 68 in the fifth set. Normally, you have to get to six to win.
They've already played. They've already played 4 sets.
That would be like a baseball game going to the 137th inning before you decided it.
It says the match began at 6:13 British time. And at 9:07 p.m., due to the fading daylight, play was suspended before the start of the fifth set. After resuming on Wednesday the 23rd at 2:05 p.m., the record for the longest match was broken at 5:45. Play continued until the final set was tied 59 games all, at which point the daylight faded again.
3 days.
So play was suspended once more. Just after 9 p.m., they resumed at 3:40 p.m. on Thursday, and eventually Eisner won the match at 4:47. The final set time 8 hours and 11 minutes.
Do you know that tennis, when it started,
Just the final set was 8 hours and 11 minutes.
I read that when tennis, like when they started and it was invented, it was just like a leisurely game, a gentlemanly game, and they used.
You're supposed to actually hit it back to the other person to get it.
To the other person.
Yeah.
So essentially, and even pro tennis was that way, and it was just, I'm looking at you right in the eye, and I'm like, here you go, and you hit it right back. Here you go.
There's a faux pas if you actually hit a winner too far away from the person.
If you try to lob one, or if you try to smash one, that was
how very gauche.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Well, baseball started that way as well.
Oh,
Pitchers were supposed to throw batting practice
Lay it in there?
the beginning of baseball. Your job was to throw it in there.
That's amazing. I didn't know that.
Eventually, obviously, it evolved where the pitcher's job became to try to get the guy out at home plate and not just
your competitive spirit.
Not just throw it in there for you to hit it.
Just got a shot of Manny Machado's camp. My son is at right now. One of our Tier 1s, Chris, is one of the coaches. And, they just brought Manny out, doing the big speech. All the little kids out there, Machado jerseys. Looks pretty sweet out at Helix. So going to run down there and check that out and see how everything's going today.
The other story update is from a while ago, and this one is a sad one, but the passing of Sean Burroughs. They just released the coroner's report, and we know that Sean Burroughs died at the parking lot of the Little League fields on May 9th at the age of 43. The coroner said after performing the test that he died of a fentanyl intoxication overdose, unfortunately, which is I don't know, it's going to make it any sadder. It's sad enough that he's gone to begin with, but obviously I say that just as the cautionary tale for anybody out there. You don't know whether he was taking it intentionally or not, but there's so many chances now where it gets in your system and it can just do such devastating damage, including death, and that's what caused the death of Sean Burroughs.
Oh, super, super sad. We have a shout out to his family, too. Did you see that one this morning? It's actually a shout out to her family. Did you guys see who passed away?
Actress.
Paulie?
Hang on, I got to get the shout out to her.
Her family. That's a whole different drop than...
Yes.
This is BBC News. We're interrupting our schedules for the following announcement. Buckingham Palace has announced the death of Her Majesty
Shelley Duvall has passed on, Ben, and had a really, really, really difficult life, especially near the end. She passed away. She is 75 years old.
For those in the younger set, famous roles that you might be aware of for Shelley Duvall.
Olive Oil in the movie
Popeye. With Robin Williams.
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
A classic when we were kids, Benny. And then, of course, The Shining. I mean, Wendy Torres. Yeah. And when I think of that role, there's not a better actress in the world that you could have put in that role. No one. Nobody could have been better than that. So she passed away, Ben, 75 years old, had been in really, really poor health the last few years. And just an incredible, incredible actress, man. Dynamite drop in. Do you have anything else you need to add?
I don't really have anything else to add. So why don't we take our last check of traffic here on
let's do that.
97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got an accident clearing on westbound 52 just before the 15. It's over the right shoulder. Stalled car northbound 15 before Carroll Canyon. That's in the center divide. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Sorry I didn't have anything to jump in there with any more thoughts on Shelley Duvall.
It's okay. You get nervous for the roundtable?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, your rival's back.
Yes, Tony Gwynn Jr. is scheduled to be here.
Hope he
taking your place today, actually, in the roundtable.
No, he works here too.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not filling
He's
in
not
for you?
filling in for me. No, I'm missing one. He's
not special guest.
No, he's not taking my place. He also works here.
He's been traveling.
He has his own key card.
But you have been wanting to create a rivalry with him for some dumb reason lately. You've really been...
He just gives me a lot of side eyes when I make comments during the roundtable.
He gives me a lot of side eyes. He gives everybody a lot of side eyes. He's smart. He's the only big leaguer in there. He's got to listen to me.
He's got a different perspective. That's why I like having him in the roundtable so much.
He's got to listen to me, you, Craig Elston, and Chris Ello. Be like, here's what they should do. Like, wouldn't you be... What if you had to sit in there with 4 people that didn't know anything, that never did professional radio, and they're like, here's what you should do.
Believe me, I'm constantly thinking about how Tony is judging us the entire time.
Me too. Absolutely.
When we're in there.
I like to just ask him questions. I don't ask. I was like, hey, in that situation, would you blah, blah, blah?
But I also feel like he can sometimes be that perspective that he has as a former player.
So good.
But he can also be compromised a little bit.
Unparalleled.
He will always... He always will side with the players.
Side with the players.
He will always side with the players.
Yes, that's a good point. Good point.
And while we probably, as fans, go too far in the other direction of being critical and like wondering what are you doing there, Tony sometimes, I think, is so empathetic to how difficult it is. And I do understand it's such a difficult game, but he's going to side with the players more often than not.
Because he was one, yeah.
Right.
And grew up. I mean, who else knows the game better than that guy with the way he grew up and then, of course, what he did for a living.
I want Tony to know. I want him to understand that I do understand that part of it.
Right.
I'm not oblivious. I've talked to enough big leaguers. I know how difficult the game is. I want Mike Schilt to understand that as well.
Yeah.
That we're not, yes, we are two babbling heads on the radio in the morning. And we talk a lot of silly things and we fill a lot of time.
Like butt, luge.
But I'd also like to think that we are savvy enough as baseball observers and fans to recognize the difficulty and just the toughness of being a major league manager or a major league player. I take all of my opinions and I put them through that lens first before I say anything and just spew it out. I understand that it's a 162 game season. One game does not make the entire year. Players will go through slumps and they will go through surges throughout the course of that season. I understand all that and I add it to my equation when I'm thinking. I'm not completely oblivious to that. And I'd like Mike Schilt, I want to make sure Tony Gwynn Jr. understands that I'm not ignoring that completely. There also are legitimate times where you can add your opinion and sometimes criticism of your team. Isn't that fair?
Bro, I listened to Ron Darling last night. There was a clip going around. Luis Severino was pitching for the Mets, and Darling pitched. He's also a broadcaster. He's pitched very well, right? And Severino didn't back up home plate, and he's like, it's inexcusable. It's absolutely inexcusable. It cannot happen.
And Tony is critical. Again. He did it Tony's critical at times too. And when he is, believe me, I take notice when Tony is critical, because I know that he has seen something that is worth observing and mentioning when he brings it up. He won't just off the cuff be mad at something and let it spit out. But when he notices something, he will tell you, and he will be critical for sure.
Yeah, no question about it. Absolutely no question about it. So, yeah, it does kind of stick out more when he does it, right? You're like, ooh, you really messed up, because it's now a glaring something that happened. Well, I hope you guys get in a huge fight today.
More than anything.
Not a fist fight, because
that wouldn't go well for me. I mean, I'm bigger than he is, but he's a lot faster and stronger and
athletic,
younger,
and more handsome, and all of it.
I mean, handsome's in the eyes of the beholder.
Not really. I think it's not really objective.
Not in this case.
Not in this case. I don't think it's a matter of preference in this one. No, it's just objectively he's more handsome.
It's an objective fact.
Yes, it's just
he's more handsome than I am.
Correct.
There's not one person that could disagree with that statement.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so.
Huh. Hannon and Carol, if you compared you to Tony Gwynn Jr.
She'd probably take Tony Gwynn Jr.
Yes.
Probably, not definitely. You're saying that everyone would definitely take Tony Gwynn Jr. over me.
Well, no,
it's objectively, you say he's just more handsome.
No, she'd say he's more handsome than you.
Like, if you had 100 people out there and you lined me next to Tony, you're saying all 100 would say Tony is better looking.
Correct.
There wouldn't be one out there. Not one.
No. He's more handsome.
Because if there was one, then it would be subjective.
Right.
That would be everyone can have their own opinion. You're saying this is a fact.
It's a fact.
This is 100 to none. This is a fact.
Yeah, he's a handsome dude. I also don't want him to kick my ass. So I'm also...
Lisa, yes, Ben, sorry about it.
Yeah, sorry.
What?
Yeah, there's things that you just wear, and then there's things that can be debated. That's not one of them.
I mean, some people just prefer a bigger guy, maybe?
A portlier, like a bigger dude. Yeah, maybe. But I think handsome is different. Handsome's not fit. Your face, his face, objectively.
Just his features are better. What's wrong with my features?
Nothing. He's got better ones.
Do I need to take the glasses off? Does that, now am I?
No, because then you see that mole right there. See? Then they'll get you. Now, you can hide that mole.
No,
you still see it.
It's still there.
Remember when I thought that it was that you had something on your face?
Yes.
Because I'd never seen it before.
Wipe it off.
I go, oh no, he's on TV. He's got chocolate on his face. It was like opening day.
Have you ever studied Tony's face? Could he possibly have
all the time,
a mark or two there?
No, very handsome. Very handsome fella. Yep. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm saying objectively. You just know he's more handsome.
I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be like 50-50 split here.
Oh, it's definitely not going to be. But I do feel like sometimes you're a little bit delusional. Like I think I could beat Steve Sugimoto at golf or Keegan Bradley. But I would be as good of a Ryder Cup
I don't think I'd beat him half the time. I'm saying maybe like one out of
never.
Like 100, just like with the Tony thing. Just like 1 out of 100 is all I'm looking for.
Never. That's what I'm trying to get you to realize.
Lightning strikes.
Nope.
Circumstances are just perfect. All the universe comes into alignment.
A vision impaired lady might find you more handsome than Tony Gwynn Jr. Blind girl.
Just on vocal quality alone.
Maybe vocal quality. Maybe if she feels around, she doesn't like what she feels. But visually, I'm sorry. This one's going to roll to him.
All right, fair enough.
All right, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings.
Last question. Are you planning on stealing some Round Table pizza on your way out before you don't participate in today's Round Table?
You know what would be a good move is to sit in there for like 10 minutes and just watch you guys do the Round Table. Just really rub it in, eat some pizza. No, I'm not going to be a jerk. I want to get over to camp.
Just sitting there.
Yep. I'm going to go get over to camp, see Bo. My buddy who's flying in today from Texas, he's already delayed a little bit, so got to pick up Bo, bring him down there, and get on with the vacation this weekend. But
we'll have
I'll miss you guys.
Have a really good time. You will be back on Monday.
Yeah.
Please be back
Allegedly,
on Monday.
yeah.
Paulie and I will hold down the fort tomorrow. We will talk to Mike Schilt
Have
at
fun.
9 o'clock.
Cause
He's
probably gonna be happy I'm out.
Hopefully they'll win tonight, and somehow, and we'll have a positive victory to talk about tomorrow. I know they don't play. Which
I was
makes
just
it
looking at you like
really unlikely.
Oh, no,
but
he's insane.
That would be nice, but
Yeah.
more than likely they'll still be on a 4-game losing streak when we talk to Mike Schilt
They
tomorrow.
will be, for sure.
And we'll just have to work our way through it.
I'm so sorry, guys. Not sorry enough to come in, but I am sorry.
It'll be okay. We'll manage our way through it tomorrow, no doubt about it. And then Woodsy will be back on Monday. For the rest of you, though, please stay tuned. Join us for the 97.3 The Fan Padres Roundtable. Coming up commercial-free next, presented by San Diego Roundtable Pizza. And then Annie and Elston will be on at 11 o'clock after the Roundtable. So that's it for us. For executive producer and imaging director Paul Reindl, for the soon probably now vacationing Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. I will talk to you in just a second here on the Roundtable on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back.